Hey, family. First of all, apologies for being late. I just finished taping an episode of our Patreon podcast with Bridget, and I wasn't feeling well, so I spaced it out so I had enough time to do the episode with her, change into my PJs, which I'm currently wearing right now, so I could do the live comfortable and then go to bed because I'm PMSing and I'm in a lot of pain right now. Unfortunately, the episode with Bridget went 10 minutes over, so that's why I'm 10 minutes late. So I just want to say apologies for that. Now, let's get into why I'm doing this live. Let me let the room fill in real quick. Oh, some of you are already here. Look at y'all being punctual when I wasn't. Apologies. And I can take accountability for it. Hawa says, I'm so happy I'm in Portugal. It's 11 p.m. here. Oh, this is like a late night talk for you or whatever. Okay. Hey, Florence. Good to see you. Glad you're feeling well enough to go live today. Yeah, Joseph, I am actually not feeling well enough to go live. But what happened on the first 4 episodes of Love is Blind UK pissed me off so bad. I popped a Midol or 3, smoked a J, legally obtained in the state of California, and decided that we have to talk about this because I'm going to be on bed rest and just, recovering from my really bad cramps. For those who don't know, I have endometriosis. So during my cycle, I have to be on bed rest because my body is just overwhelmed by everything that's happening. So I'm going to be on bed rest for the next 2 or 3 days. And then on Saturday, I'm flying to the East Coast to check on my family. And then the following week, I'm flying to New York to tape some episodes of my Patreon podcast with Bridget. And I will be in New York when the Love is Blind, not Love is Blind, Love Island. I'm getting all my loves mixed up. I will be in New York when the Love Island season 7 reunion happens. And because of my travel schedule, I will be going live right after the episode. The day after the reunion, I'm going to be in studio all day and then at the airport at Delta all day. So I actually have to do the Love Island season 7 reunion recap the night it happens. So for those of you who want to see what I think about the reunion, take some coffee or some caffeine pills because I'm going live right after. The minute it's over. Actually, knowing me, I might go live 15 minutes before it's over, to be perfectly honest. So I'll be live from New York. Oh, that's so funny. Monday Night Live. So I'll be live from New York on Monday the 25th for the Love Island season 7 reunion. Huda is there. I posted a video earlier debunking the feelings that she wasn't going to be there. But I need y'all to know I am so committed to sticking to this creator schedule for the next year that I have intentionally made it so that my travel schedule does not disrupt it, because I will be doing a video in December about an experiment that I've been doing where in January of 2025, I decided that I was going to dedicate an entire year to taking content creation seriously. And I've been taking notes about what I've learned. And so at the end of this year, I'll be sharing with you guys what happens when you're someone who's casually on the internet because you got mad at the jobs. And then one day you decide to take the internet seriously. I've been on the internet getting paid for 20 years indirectly, but this is the first year where I decided to do it directly. And so the schedule that I've set up with you guys for these lives, I take it very, very seriously. Number 1, because of integrity, but number 2, because it's a social experiment. I don't want to get some results. You know, a bitch likes receipts. All right, let's see what you guys are in here. Hi, Always Priceless is, by the way, an amazing name. Someone said a human design coach is like an astrologist, but for human design, it has to be a relationship, but not a one-time thing. Oh, so we're already talking about the cast. All right, let's get into it. Oh, something is flew into my nose. Got feathers in my nose. All right, guys. So, why is Blue in her pajamas, in her bonnet, who's supposed to be in bed, on live with us today, talking about Love is Blind UK season 2, right? Because can I be honest with you? Season 1 was so wholesome. Season 1 was so wholesome and lovely, like a cup of tea, right? That I was like, oh, I don't have to do a recap of the first 4 episodes. It's just going to be a bunch of lovely Brits having banter. And when we get to, the vacation, when people start showing their asses and having sex, then I could do a recap. So I made the mistake of thinking that I was not going to have to recap these first 4 episodes because there would not be much to talk about. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. If you have seen up to episode 4 of Love is Blind UK season 2, please put some fire emojis in the chat right now, because I am curious how many of you have seen it. I don't want to do spoilers, and there are so many EQ lessons just in these 4 episodes. I actually cannot wait for the rest. I can't wait. All right, I see one fire emoji. Is that it? Only one of y'all seen the whole thing? Oh, I see more. Okay, I'm seeing a bunch of fire emojis. Good. For those of you who are like, Blue, oh no, is this full of spoilers? Let me tell you this. The first 4 episodes are not meant to be for tea. The first 4 episodes are us like a dog sniffing someone's leg to figure out if we like them or not, right? So the first, when do y'all put wet water? I don't know what the water means when I said fire, y'all. Does that mean you haven't seen it? All right, so for a lot of us, the first 4 episodes are just an introduction to the players, right? So I'm not really spoiling a lot when it comes to the overall plot of the show. I am going to be spoiling people's integrity, though. And I would dare to say, because this is a low stakes clump of episodes where all we're doing is meeting the key players and nothing highly dramatic has really happened yet, I actually think that me telling you about these characters through the lens of an EQ coach will actually better inform you about how to watch the episodes, even if you haven't seen them yet. So that's my way of saying spoilers, but not really spoilers. For the person saying no spoilers, I'm planning to watch this weekend. I'm gonna tell you right now, there are going to be a little bit of spoilers because there's not much to spoil. We're just meeting people. All we're doing these first 4 episodes is meeting the couples and figuring out who will be the couples who will create the drama for the rest of the season. If you don't want to know who the couples will be, then maybe watch this after. But I will just say this, though. I personally wish I had been warned. I wish I had been warned about what I was about to watch. Now, there are many couples that get together this season, so from what we've seen, but there are only 3 that I want to talk about today. So for those who are saying no spoilers, I'm only going to talk about 3 of the couples. So there's going to be a bunch of other couples that I'm intentionally avoiding. I only want to talk about the couples whose emotional intelligence lessons are so loud that I got pulled out of my bed today to do this. Okay? All right. Somebody said they're watching the first episode now. Not worried, you're ready. All right, let's get into it. Now, I'm going to do a screen share. And I'm going to be talking about how the couples got together and my verdict about who they are before we see next week's episodes, which are the real episodes 5 through, I think, 8, where we see the drama unfold. Okay? Because, I'm triggered. For anybody who saw my story time about dating a male baddie, spoiler alert, there's a male baddie this season. Yeah. Does your spleen speak to you, Blue? The spleen jokes are already killing me. And for those who haven't seen it, you will understand shortly. All right. Somebody said, but I don't like the Love is Blind franchise anymore after the way they be dogging Black women to my face, but I still support content creators' reviews. Oh, that's sweet. So let's get into it. The first person I'm going to talk about, there's going to be 3 couples I'm going to be talking about. 2 Black couples that are not interracial. Can we just be stunned by that? I've always said that I do not have a problem with interracial relationships if the person is in the relationship because they were looking for love and they happen to find it in someone who's not Black. I have no issue with people who are running towards love and love just happens to not be part of the Black community. I have no issue with that. I do have a problem with interracial relationships where the person wants to date anybody but a Black person and is running from their community and thinks as long as it's not Black, it's exotic and better. That I do have a problem with. And those are 2 very different things. I want to say that nuance now. For those who are saying there's 3 Black couples, no offense, I only feel like talking about 2 of them. Okay, no offense. So I'm going to be talking about 3 couples, 2 Black on Black loved ones. Didn't expect that in the UK. In the UK, and my UK brethren can confirm, in the UK where people love to be swirly, right? The fact that there's more than 1 Black on Black love couple to begin with is already sending me. And just as I was getting excited, like, oh, okay, this is a love triangle, but they're all Black and they're British Black people liking other British Black people. This is controversial. This is amazing. Before I could even get excited about that, because let's be clear, Love is Blind's premise is we date blindly. So we can't say it's colorism, right? Because the young lady, I can already feel people and be like, but Katisha is light-skinned. They don't know that. Right? Can we be honest? The minute you hear the name Katisha, you know you are talking about a Black woman. I know there's like 1 or 2 white Keishas in the world, and we just talked about a white Kendra a couple of days ago. I don't know no white Katishas. So the fact that 2 dark-skinned Black men in the UK, because let's be clear as well, a lot of dark-skinned Black men in the UK intentionally want to light a girl so they can dilute their bloodline and look more mixed. Can we shame the devil today like we do every day? So the fact that these are 2 dark-skinned Black men and they hear this Black-ass name and they still lean in, I was like, oh, could it be? Could there be a healing across the pond? Could Black people in the UK who are not racially ambiguous actually be making peace with the fact that they can date other Black people who are racially unambiguous and that's okay? Could that be happening? So I was excited, right? So there's 2 black couples I want to talk about and 1 white couple. I actually want to talk about the white couple first, though. You're like, Blue, you just did all that buildup for the black couples. Yeah, it's called suspense, okay? Somebody said, I agree. I don't watch the show, but we'll definitely watch you guys and do reviews. Definitely interesting and informative. That's good to know. I get that a lot. A lot of folks say that they don't watch the shows that we talk about, whether it's me, Jesse, Bridget, or any of my other friends who do cultural commentary, but that y'all like the commentary. And that's why, for those who don't watch the shows, I'm going to intentionally make it so, even if you don't watch the show, the lessons that I'm about to uncover, because God knows there's a lot of lessons. Don't get mad, Blue. Just thinking about what I just saw in episode 4, I'm so fucking mad. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about the white couples first. First, I want to talk about Kieran. And for those who have noticed, yes, we've upgraded the way that the lives look. I was clicking buttons last night and figured out how to do stuff. So hopefully y'all appreciate the aesthetics that we have evolved into in just 2 weeks of me doing live streams. So here's Kieran, right? When you look at this man, oh, I wish it was a closer picture of him. He's a regular, attractive white man. He also works in tech. He's rich, okay? So we're starting off with a rich white man. Now, why is this important? When you're talking about compatibility and dating, right? Oh, and I wish I had a closer look at his face. When you talk about compatibility and dating, you want to make sure that the people that you're talking about are people who, how do I say this nicely? People who you think could pull other people outside of the show. Because we all know when you come on the show, let me make them bigger, make me smaller. When you come on the show and you are someone who clearly gets girls, clearly pulls people, then you have a higher discernment level because you're not as desperate. Can we be honest about this? People who pull other people are not as desperate as they could be. And so the first thing I recognize about Kieran, and Kieran is the one here in the middle, right? So there's 3 girls. I mean, there's 2 girls that are like Kieran. Ignore the black couple underneath. I can already tell all the black people want to go straight to the black couples. Please listen. I promise you, even though this is a pro-black space that allows black and brown and white allies and Asian allies, in this moment, this white couple has a lot to teach all of us, okay? So you see in the pink, there's a woman named Meg. You see Meg? She's cute, her little 2-piece, very cute, right? In the middle, you see Kieran. Kieran looks like a much hotter version of Harry from Prince Harry. Yes, from the royal family, Meghan Markle. So he's like a hotter version of Prince Harry. Then you see this girl over here, Sophie. Sophie is what we call the Barbie doll. So I'm going to actually, let me look up Deadline and find another page that has all the pictures bigger. Because for some reason, these are all wide shots. Like they all did all wide shots. I really wanted to get some close-ups of their faces. So when you watch the show, and I'll look up a picture of Kieran for you guys. When you watch the show, you're like, oh, this trio is people who could actually get ass elsewhere, right? There's no reason, and sorry for clicking around, there's no reason why these 2 conventionally attractive white women and this white guy who makes a lot of fucking money would even need to be on the show unless they were intentionally looking for love, right? And I wrote some notes on Kieran because I wanted to make sure that we recognize, for the ladies who are in here, I know a lot of women are going to be watching. Oh, this is too small. Why can't I make it bigger? You guys, do you guys know how to make things bigger on? Ooh, I can make it bigger. There we go. Look at me learning in real time. So I'm gonna make this bigger and me smaller. Sorry for clicking around, guys. I'm learning on the job. All right. So this is Kieran. When we see a man who looks like this, we immediately think he's attractive and he makes good money. Technically, he should not have a problem meeting women, right? And the notes that I took were saying, hey, guys, in some of these examples, it's not the men who are the problems. You're all listening right now because you're thinking I'm going to tell you about how a bunch of women are looking for a good guy and how the men keep fucking up. I hate to tell you, ladies, from what I've seen so far in season 2 of Love is Blind UK, we are the problem as well. We are the problem as well. Somebody said, Meg be wearing those outfits. She does. It is not just the men. Kieran is not the problem here. You're all thinking, oh, I'm talking about how he looks like Prince Harry and he got money. He's not the problem. He's not the problem. In my not so humble opinion, the problem is actually a woman named Sophie. Let me see if I can do a Command F and find Sophie's picture. Sophie. And guys, the problem about doing a review like this so early is that they don't have a bunch of people's pictures and stuff up yet. So I actually wish that I had had more time to get more pictures, but everything is just breaking because the episode just came out at midnight, right? So I'm going to look for Sophie. First, we're going to look for Meg. I want you to see what these women look like. For those of you who are shallow out there, I want you to be shallow. I want you to intentionally look at these women and recognize that these are not unattractive women. Now, is Meg the prettiest bitch to ever live? No, but she's a fun, spicy redhead who clearly knows how to put that shit on, right? Meg is the kind of girl who she knows she's skinny, she's white, she's cute enough. She's cute enough to be conventionally attractive, and she likes to dress her little ass off. So Meg is what I would call securely attached. On the show, and let me pull up my notes for you guys, it says here Meg is a golden retriever. She actually kind of looks like one, and that's no shade because I'm a golden retriever, so I'll be talking shit about myself. But that's why I'm blonde all of a sudden, right? Meg is a golden retriever. She wants love, and she shows it up front. She doesn't play games. She's super complimentary and playful. If I like you, I like you. Meg is incredibly healthy and is not an issue. Then we have Kieran, who I've been showing you for the past 5 minutes. Kieran is a hot nerd who seems ready for love and has no major red flags. So now you're thinking, well, if Meg is a conventionally attractive white woman who's a golden retriever, and Kieran is a conventionally attractive white man who doesn't have red flags, and he got money. He got money, girl. In the words of, then what's the issue? Y'all, the issue is this lady. This is the issue. And here's the funny thing. Can we be honest? Arguably speaking, she's the hottest person of the trio. A man is just a man. Like, we're not going to compare men and women unless they're baddies, right? Between Meg and Sophie, who I'm showing you right now, Sophie is more conventionally attractive, right? Because what does white supremacy tell us? You need to be small and cute and blonde and adorable. That is Sophie. So when I'm watching this, I'm thinking, okay, well, Meg seems like a fun, tall girl who sometimes gets the guy, but other times plays the sidekick. Kieran is a hot nerd. He doesn't ever have to worry about getting no booty. The only person that should be the most attached here is Meg, because Meg is a hot blonde. The problem is Meg. My notes on Meg says she's stankin' judgy with everyone, but Kieran makes her smile. Meg is not a Sophie's not a golden retriever. Sophie is a black cat. A black cat, for those who don't understand, is a woman who's a little bit cunty, right? A little bit, I'm not sure I like you. Scorpio woman energy. Shout out to all the Scorpios out there. Y'all know how y'all are, right? So I wrote in my notes, Sophie moves like a Scorpio, where she has trust issues and doesn't open up and is super stern and biting with her humor. If she's laughing, she's probably laughing at you, right? So, but underneath it, like a Scorpio, I don't know if this woman is a Scorpio, but she definitely acts like one. Underneath all that biting wit, she's actually a softie who wants love. So when Sophie was having her dates, she was cackling at everybody. She was making, somebody said Sophie looks like she's the problem. She is. Sophie was making fun of and making faces at every man who came into the booth to talk to her. Every man who came into a pod, Sophie was making faces. And so I'm just like, damn, she's a bit of a bitch. She's beautiful, but she's a bit of an asshole. Until Kieran. Kieran comes on, and suddenly Sophie has all the teeth to show. You can see all the way to the back of her mouth. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is amazing. The fucking black cat, blonde girl who doesn't believe in love, and this hot nerd who's ready for love. This is great. Until Meg. Until Meg. Now, I'm going to share something with you guys that is going to make you want to jump up and say something nice. I'm very clear that I'm the kind of woman who my personality makes me 10 times more attractive. I don't think I'm ugly, so please waste the blue. You're beautiful. I didn't say I was ugly. I just know that because somebody said blue, I caught her straight because you're a Scorpio. Oh, did I lie though? I'll wait. Devonda, did I lie? You caught her straight, but was it inaccurate? I'll wait. So I just need y'all to know that, like, I'm watching the show and I'm like, okay, this should be fun, because I know what it's like for a girl like Meg, who's cute, but she knows that in the hierarchy, there are girls who are considered cuter. Meg walks into this date, and I'm going to tell you this part because if I show you the video, they're going to copyright strike me. Meg walks into her date with Kieran. She's bubbly, she's fun, and when she likes him, she tells him. When he's funny, she tells him. When she has something sensitive to say, she tells him. Every conversation they have, the interactions are pure. Sophie, on the other hand, is holding back. Sophie is like, hey, I've been through a lot, because, all people who have trust issues want to tell you why they have trust issues. I've been through a lot, And, you know, I think the problem with me being the reason why I'm single is because of me. She was correct. She was correct. She's like, I think I'm single because of me. I think the way that I move makes it hard for people to get to me, hard for people to get to know me. And so that's why I'm single. And I'm hoping the show will give me an opportunity to show another side of me. Now, you guys, what is wrong with this speech? This is the speech that a lot of you give, right? Somebody said, so weird hearing about the islanders without seeing it myself from my own opinion. What islanders, love? There's no island. Are you getting Love is Blind mixed up with Love Island? That happens. So somebody said Sophie is a Scorpio. You just looked it up? Knew it. Sophie's a Scorpio? Okay. Because the minute I saw Sophie, I was like, if you look up the word Scorpio in a book, it's literally a picture of Sophie with a list of all her behaviors. So thank you for proving that I'm not crazy, because I kept on hearing Scorpio the entire time I was watching the show, but I was too sick and I didn't have time to like look it up before I went live with Bridget. So Sophie, being a Scorpio, has trust issues. A man who is anxiously attached, who's anxious for approval, would think that that was, yes, go time. I'm going to prove myself to her. Unfortunately, though, Kieran is not anxiously attached. Kieran, from what I've seen thus far, because you know these men like to embarrass us when we give them compliments online. But what I've seen thus far, Kieran is a regular, well-rounded man who's attractive and makes money, but low-key's a nerd and just wants to find a wife. So rather than hearing what Sophie says about her trust issues and thinking, I'm going to prove myself to you, he instead is like, okay, then I'll just keep dating. And he meets Meg. Now, here's the problem. Somebody said there's no solution. She just wants to vent about her issues, but not look for solutions. Exactly. She really likes Kieran. And ladies, please listen to this part, because a lot of us don't do this. We'll tell a man, yo, I've been through a lot. The last guy I talked to ruined my life. I have trust issues. It's hard to get to know me, X, Y, and Z. We'll tell him that. And then we'll go on the group chat and tell our friends, I really like him. Why do your friends know you like him so much and you're giddy, but in his face, you're pretending like you don't care about him? That was Sophie's mistake in the show. She kept acting as if Kieran was merely an option and not someone that she thought was her one and only. In fact, we don't even see her talk to the girls about how much she really, really likes him until Meg comes from a date. And Meg says, yo, me and Kieran have great energy. We have great energy to the point where he went to Japan once and he brought back a teddy bear and he spritzed it in his cologne and he just left it in my pod as a gift. Somebody said, is she afraid of rejection? Yes. A lot of women will find a man that they like who is securely attached, who has no red flags, but expect him to tap dance and apologize for all the things that the previous man did to us. That was her mistake. Because guess what happened? The minute Sophie finds out that Kieran has given Meg that teddy bear, she crashes out and she dumps him. And the entire time that she's dumping him, I'm thinking to myself, she's hoping that he's going to fight for her, because she's playing a game where she wants somebody who will fight for her, because she's not secure enough to simply take him at his word. Yeah, she's very much an avoidant attachment style. Can we be honest? Raise your hand if you are someone in here who is scared of love and walking around saying, I don't trust people, but hoping someone will prove you wrong. Y'all in here saying it's toxic, and yet y'all do it every day. Every day, y'all will talk about and hyper identify with the bad things that have happened in your love life, and yet will still date hoping that someone will prove you wrong. That is not how the universe works. The universe doesn't want to prove you wrong. The universe wants to prove you right. So if you are moving as if you can't trust nobody, guess what? Someone said, and Kieran tried. Kieran tried within reason. He courted, but he did not chase. Right? He was coming up with conversations to get to know her. Thank you for that point, love. Okay, so here's the thing about women like Sophie or Scorpios who are unhealed. Shout out to y'all. They don't want to be courted. They want to be chased, because the pain, right? That void inside of them that tells them that there's not enough. Thank you, lovely, for being honest. That void inside of them that tells them that they are not enough or that love will always fail them is so loud, they need someone to chase them down to prove them otherwise. A simple, reasonable, hey guys, there's another option is not enough for them. It's not enough for them. And so the reason why, before pivoting to the black on black love couples that I'm so excited about, but also incredibly triggered by from this season, the reason why I wanted to talk about these three is when she crashed out and she said, I've just broken up with Kieran, and had that moment, right? That was supposed to be the moment where either Meg was going to feel bad about her relationship or Kieran was going to feel bad and chase her. What did I say earlier about Meg and Kieran? Earlier, I made it clear that Meg and Kieran are both appearing thus far. I've only seen 4 episodes. So far, you guys were talking about storylines. So we're not talking about episodes. We're talking about the 3 couples that I found the most compelling in the first 4 episodes. So we're only talking about couples as a whole, not episodes individually. Because not everybody has had a chance to watch all the episodes. And for me, I want to talk about the lessons from the couples themselves, not do a recap. All right, so guys, I want you all to know, if you are walking around moving like Sophie, you better hope you don't meet a man who's securely attached. If you are walking around moving like Sophie, you better hope that you don't meet a good man, because a good man is not going to chase you. This is the number one thing that all my clients have always been so confused about. My feminine clients, right? So many of my clients would be like, Blue, they had chemistry. They did. They had amazing chemistry. Some of my clients would be like, Blue, I met this nice guy and I told him that I don't believe in love, and he was cute and everything, but he didn't apply pressure. You guys, if a man likes you and he tells you he likes you and you like him, sorry, I'm gonna put the fan on because it's a little bit warm in my laundry room. If a man likes you and he tells you reasonably that he likes you and he acts like he likes you and he courts you and he is kind to you, but he's not chasing you down, why is that not enough? Sophie met a man who could have potentially been her husband. And because she played games, when she dumped him, guess what happened? Meg goes to Kieran and says, hey, I just heard that you and Sophie broke up. He was like, yeah, we did. It just wasn't the right match. But I'm still all about you. What's up? Rather than chase the woman who was playing hard to get, the woman who was playing games, the woman who was steeped in her trauma and trying to get him to prove her wrong, he simply went with the woman who liked him, who was transparent, and who just kept it a stack. They both put in effort. They both were vulnerable. He didn't have to pull teeth with Meg. And so he was like, oh, okay, the girl I was trying to reasonably help pull out of her shell ended it very dramatically and started crying, even though I didn't do anything wrong. And then there's a woman who I like as well, who has always been cool and reasonable, and we have good chemistry. I'm just going to go with her. I love Kieran so far. Let's hope he doesn't change, because, God forbid he sees Sophie and then he reveals himself to be a fuckboy. Again, God forbid Kieran sees Sophie, sees that she's a hot petite blonde, and suddenly I have to eat everything I've just said. So take everything I'm saying with I've only seen 4 episodes out of 12 grain of salt. But as of right now, Kieran is presenting as a securely attached man who had to choose between a securely attached woman or an avoidant, and he chose a woman who was less headache. We often chastise men for this. We often say, where's your passion? That's another word for toxic, right? Not y'all saying typical Scorpio. Is it typical Scorpio behavior to find a good man and push him away because he won't chase you and eat shit? And somebody said, should he have told Sophie about the gift to avoid her feeling so embarrassed? Here's the thing. He gave the woman that he had strong connection with and who was open with him. Why is there something in my eye for real, though? Sorry, guys. He told the woman who he had a strong connection with, hey, I got this gift because it made me think of you. Sophie found out the minute he got the gift. There would have been no opportunity. The minute Meg ran out of the pod with the gift and started saying, oh my God, the guy I like just gave me this gift. That means he really cares about me. What a thoughtful present. She would have found out from Meg anyways, because Meg was out here shouting it out immediately. The thing about being a golden retriever that I can say as somebody who's a recovering golden retriever who's considering being something else is, if you listen to my 6-hour story time about my little dating disaster 2 weeks ago, in that story, I was transparent the entire time. Women who are golden retrievers, women who are very, very secure and open and do not do the whole smoldering, oh, you have to beg for my love. We don't play games. So if we like you, we're going to tell people we like you. It's that simple. So now, what I'm thinking Sophie was trying to do was put a chasm between them, a chasm between them. Instead, she just brought them closer together. So my verdict for this first couple, because I'm only doing 3 couples so I can go to bed. It's going to be a very short live. My first verdict for Kieran, Meg, and Sophie is that Meg and Kieran are 2 people who like each other and have secure attachment styles. And Sophie played clown games and won clown prizes. Someone said, how old is she? You know, everybody claims to be in their late 20s, early 30s, but some of them have faces that tell me otherwise. All right, so that's the couple that is the healthiest. Now, we are going to move on to Spleen Man. Ugh, I don't even want to pull up his picture. His name is, let me look up, Patrick, Love is Blind UK. We're going to talk next about Patrick. Is there anybody in here who liked Patrick immediately? I need to know. Is there anybody in here who saw Patrick and said, he's a good man, Savannah? Because I need to be clear. When I saw Patrick, let me just pull up his picture. All right, guys, I'm going to pull up a picture of Patrick and Aanu. This is Patrick and Aanu. Let me make myself smaller so you can see them better. Patrick and Aanu. Now, on the surface, they're both attractive Black people. Again, I'm still stunned that there's so many Black people dating other Black people on this season of Love is Blind UK. Not even like Black biracial, just regular Black. Because y'all like to say regular Black, even though there's nothing regular about being Black, right? Just racially unambiguous Black people dating each other. I still am stunned about the casting directors and how they pulled this off, right? So Patrick and Aanu are talking. And I have written, somebody said she looks familiar. She has one of those faces where she looks like 3 different R&B stars and 5 different influencers. She has a very familiar face, so I'm happy that you said that. So yes, Patrick and Aanu start talking. And the first thing we learn about Patrick is he is a human design coach. And I put in my notes, parentheses, unemployed, question mark, close parentheses. I know that I have some nerve as an emotional intelligence coach, as a full-time emotional intelligence coach. I know y'all are thinking, Blue, you got some nerve giving a side eye to a human design coach. You're an EQ coach. And yet here I am. I know how an emotional intelligence coach can get paid because we can teach about emotional intelligence. I'm still not clear about how a human design coach pays his mortgage or his rent. I don't mean to judge. I am confusion. I am confusion. What human design? Mind you, I have a friend who I think is a human design coach. I just realized, oh shit. If she sees this friend, I'm not talking shit about you, but this is not how you pay your rent. So you have to agree with me, right? You like to do this, but you do other stuff. This man is claiming this is his primary employment, which makes me think he might be unemployed. So anyways, we have Patrick and Aanu. And I got to read my quotes on Patrick and Aanu because it started off good because I was actually willing to put aside the fact that he's a human design coach. And then he kept talking. Somebody said he must have clients. Says who? Says who? People come on the internet and lie every day. Y'all are so cute. All right, let me read my notes on Patrick and Aanu. Patrick is a human design coach, question mark, unemployed, and he doesn't trust his gut. He makes it a point when he meets women to say, I don't trust my gut. I trust my spleen. So the entire time he's... I'm so sorry. I was like, your spleen. The entire time the episode is going on, all 4 episodes, he's saying, yeah, I trust my spleen. I don't trust my gut. I trust my spleen. And then he'll be talking about his splenic awareness. Somebody said, take a shot every time he says spleen. We'd all be drunk. The life would be over. Right? So Patrick wants us to think that somebody said that y'all don't understand. As an emotional intelligence coach who's also a psychic and who lives in the spiritual realm and does coaching for a niche market, I am the one person who very much should have been standing up for this man, and he still made it difficult for me. I'm the person who should have been like, oh, I totally get it, brother. I totally get it. Even I was like, I don't think this man got a job. Somebody said, I just noticed that Blue upgraded Q. Look at her. Thank you. Feel free to tip or whatever. But no, like, I was like, bruh, I'm the demographic that this bullshit you're trying to sell is made for. And even I'm looking at you like you crazy and don't have a job. So I'm going to look up splenic awareness. Does that exist? Splenic awareness, guys. I need to know, does splenic awareness exist? Oh, it does. Oh, God. Okay, he really is a human design person. You guys, I'm going to show you what it says about splenic awareness. It says here, splenic awareness is a form of awareness focused on survival and well-being. Okay, it refers to the splenic center, which functions as the internal alarm system and source of intuition. Okay, this awareness manifests as a gut feeling or an intuitive hit. Wait. See, y'all almost had me hooked. I almost believed y'all. Splenic awareness is also a gut feeling. So you're trusting your gut. For those who are asking, somebody said it sounds like a cult. For those who are asking what we're talking about Love is Blind UK season 2, and how there's 3 couples that I want to highlight. The first couple was this really sweet white couple where 2 healthy white people were in a love triangle with a Scorpio. And the Scorpio tried to start some mess, and they let her go on her way, and now they're going to get married. She fumbled, okay? And I wanted to point that out because in the other 2 episodes, the men are the issue. I wanted at least one problem. I wanted at least one couple where the women are the issue, because I do not want to do gender wars where we only talk about how men suck. In the previous thing, it was a woman who sucked, okay? Now we're talking about Mr. Human Design, who believes in trusting his spleen because that's where he gets his gut feelings from. That still sounds like a gut. Okay. Let me not mock. I just don't understand. I'm not going to understand when I don't mock. Somebody said it's giving, yes, he repackaged gut intuition as splenic awareness. Somebody says it's giving the twin flames called. It's not giving that. So, yeah. Somebody said AI overviews BBS. I agree. I was trying to live in their reality because I'm sure that he got splenic awareness from AI. And for those who don't know, I don't do ChatGPT. I know I'm a fossil. All right, so let's talk about Patrick and Aanu. Aanu on the other side is a super Christian black babe, because you know in the UK that's the culture of the babes. I immediately was like, she's either Caribbean or Nigerian or like West African, because she has that thing. A lot of black girls in the UK, which by the way is like my favorite subgenre of people. I love black people from the UK because they have to deal with so much anti-blackness, and so those of them who actually still like themselves, I think, are like miracles walking. I thought she was West African or Caribbean because she immediately started talking about what all West African or Caribbean black women talk about in the UK. Jesus Christ, okay? She immediately started talking about how she prays every day. She prays in the morning. She reads her scripture. She called her mama. They pray together. So now I'm like, Mr. Splenic Awareness, Mr. Probably Unemployed Splenic Awareness, right? Mr. I Trust My Spleen is on the, somebody said she's Nigerian. Yo, I have been killing it with the gut instincts. What? Can we just clap for the fact that I know people? The beautiful thing about me doing this live before I could do any real research on the people's backstories, because I'm only talking about how they show up for EQ, is that their personalities are popping out in ways that are so loud that you guys are being able to confirm it for me in real time. So this is fun. We're doing this together. You guys are part of my research department. I appreciate y'all. Keep researching, because I love it when y'all keep me on the right side of history. Somebody said we've lost the plot. I think we have. Mr. Splenic Awareness is now dating Miss Nigerian Christian. Immediately, I'm concerned. Okay? Immediately, I'm concerned because I know too many Igbo girls who would call you a demon and pray for you and never talk to you again if they heard Patrick talking about he's a human design coach who specializes in splenic awareness. Okay? So, Patrick says to her, I'm going to have to trust my spleen. Let's do a drinking game, guys. Every time I say spleen, take a shot of kombucha. Sorry for the gurgle. Also, sorry for reapplying lip gloss because I'm sick. I'm dehydrated, so I have to drink a lot of water. So he tells her, the only way I'm going to propose to you is if my spleen likes you. Immediately, I put down 3 red flags. And he's Nigerian and Jamaican. I wonder if his family still talks to him. Oh my God, I said that I was smelling Nigerian. Jamaican, Caribbean. Look at this. I know my people, right? So, 2 Nigerian British people, one who's half Jamaican, are sitting here talking about splenic awareness, and one of them is an uber Christian who calls her mother to read scripture every morning. So Patrick says, if my spleen likes you, I'm going to propose. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to say if my gut likes you, because that makes me want to laugh less and take it more seriously. And Aanu is like, okay, well, how do you feel about the fact that I'm Christian? And he says an answer that I thought was brilliant. He said, I think it's beautiful how much you love your faith. I think it's beautiful how close you are to your mother. I think it's beautiful. So now I'm starting to feel bad, like, damn, bruh. Do I owe Patrick an apology? Because just because he's talking about splenic awareness, yes, I'm still stuck on that. I'm like, somebody said my splenic awareness is on point. Apparently, isn't that the gag? I'm talking shit about splenic awareness. So apparently I have good splenic awareness. I'm like, okay, Blue, I feel bad now because like he wasn't judgmental towards the Christians. You guys know I am Buddhist. I have a long legacy of Cuban witches in my bloodline. And I still make it a point not to talk shit about Christians. I will talk about systemic oppression through Christianity because that's just science and history and everything else. But like, I will not talk shit about Christian as a belief for those who are sincere believers, because my whole family is Christian. My closest friends are Christian. So I was immediately like, yo, the fact that he could be into this, whatever the fuck he's doing, and still not talk shit about Christians, maybe this could work. So now I'm thinking, damn, Blue, you might owe Patrick an apology. Plot twist, I don't. Her Nigerian mother will say, this man needs a job. Yes. 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 So now I'm thinking, okay, well, he's not judgmental and he seems sweet, a little kooky. The word spleen makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why, but the word spleen, I don't like it. It's like spores. I don't like that word. But like, that's my own hang up. Give them a chance. Aanu goes on this date with Patrick. And at this point, you can tell that she's decided that he's her best bet at walking out of here with a husband. You know, when the girl who you thought was going to be judgy immediately starts making concessions for the man who's not a good fit, but who she still wants to make it work with? Immediately, I'm like, oh, okay, so she's decided that she's going to be open-minded so she doesn't die alone. So I wrote in my quotes, Aanu would have to shrink to be with him. Oh, no, she's already started. We're only 2 episodes in. Oh, damn. I was writing in real time. So you guys, I'm reading my notes, my raw notes, so you're going to be reading them with me. But the first thing I said was, oh, no, she's already started shrinking for him. But then I'm thinking, if he's a nice man and her shrinking just means being less judgmental, what's the harm? What's the harm? Well, the harm happens in episode 3. In episode 3 is when Aanu is talking to Patrick, and so far, his spleen seems to like her. For those who are coming in late, spleen is how this man talks about his gut. He doesn't trust his gut, he trusts his spleen. Even though ChatGPT says his gut is like his gut. Sorry, his spleen is his gut instinct. So I'm very confusion when it comes to any of this, right? So they start to like each other. They're opening up to each other. You see how they're smiling? Look at their faces. I intentionally picked this picture. Look at how he's smiling at the wall and she's smiling at the wall, right? So clearly there's chemistry and they're an attractive couple. And he's tall. I feel like if you're going to bring a potentially unemployed man to a Nigerian household who talks about weird spiritual hoodoo shit, at least let him be attractive and tall. Can we all admit that? To my sisters out there, to my West African sisters, can we all admit that if your man's going to be on some interesting nonsense, at least if he's 6'5" and has good teeth and nice skin, and the braids are questionable, but at least he has a full head of hair, your mother might make some concessions and just try to figure out how to get your father to talk him out of it. Thank you. Right? I love it when y'all can speak for yourselves, because I'm just here to, I'm just here for the vibes. I'm just playing. So I'm like, oh, somebody said, look at them knees. Just the bending. Y'all are fucked up. So at this point, I'm like, she's shrinking for him, but he could, maybe she could change him. Toxic. The fact that this man already has me praying for my girl to make it work with him, because I don't want her to die alone, because Black girls on this show always die alone, apparently. So already Patrick has gotten Aanu and me thinking toxic, like, girl, maybe we could fix him for you, right? Maybe we could put some lotion on them knees. Maybe we could, take him to a barber. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can make this work for you, sis. Until episode 3. Now, what happens in episode 3? I promise you, I'm going to describe what happens in episode 3, and it's not going to stop you from watching it. Here's the thing about these episodes I'm about to talk about. These men are so audacious that me explaining it to you, you're going to still have to see it on your own. If I'm lying, write it back in the replay in the comments. I promise you, the 2 Black men that I'm about to cover in this show are so audacious that when I explain it to you, you're still going to watch it back and be like, this is worse than I thought. Boy, I promise you. There's nothing I can say to make it as bad as it had to be for me to go live today. So this is a spoiler, but not really. Okay? They get to the third date. And he says, hey, I have a spa date for us. So he got cucumbers and little sandwiches and eye patches. He probably got some incense that we just couldn't see, but they could smell it. He creates this like spiritual retreat for her in her room and in his room. So now I'm like, wait a minute, Blue, you like cucumbers on your eyes? You like face masks? You like incense? So now I'm like, maybe Patrick, somebody's saying they're scared. You should be. Maybe Patrick is like, he's a vibe, right? Maybe we could go get facials together. I have a dream that I want to date a man who will let me take him to get facials. I love skincare. I'm PMSing right now, so my skin is actually incredibly horrible. But like, I love skincare. She comes in, she's like, ooh, okay, this is nice. Basically having the same hair. The thing about watching these shows is I forget I'm an EQ coach when I watch them, and I immediately start identifying with people who I think are good people. So me and Anu are both going, oh, okay, come to eye patch. Anu starts eating one of with the fancy sandwiches that are left for her. She's eating a sandwich, vibing, right? He has his little face patch on, his little eye mask on. He lays back on the pillow. He's relaxed. I'm like, this is a cute little date. Then he says to her, you told me you were a singer, so sing. Boy. Now, y'all know that I'm friends with a lot of singers, right? The one thing I would tell you about all my singing friends, the last thing they want to hear when they're relaxed is, go to Marcus, do your little dance, right? Demanding that a singer or any entertainer or an EQ coach at the club trying to mind her business, demanding that someone who does something for a living do it for you at the drop of a hat because you've commanded from them, that is called free labor. Getting her relaxed in a spa retreat date and then demanding that she perform for you while you're laid back eating your cucumbers and shit for free. Yes, y'all, for free. So Anu's like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm not at work because unlike you, I have a job. What's happening? So Anu says, no, baby, I thought we were just having a spa date. I don't want to do work at a spa date. Maybe I'll sing for you some other time. The minute she says, nah, I don't feel like, and mind you, she was not rude. Like a dog doing a trick. She was not rude. She was not nasty. She was not abrasive. She just said, nah, I'm vibing. I don't want to work. For me, singing is work and I'm vibing. So how's your day? The mask immediately slips off. The minute Aanu simply said, no, I don't feel like performing, suddenly spleen awareness went away. Somebody, human design went away, and he turned into, excuse my French, a nigga. I sat up on my couch like, now hold on. This man just almost convinced me to not call him unemployed. He got me and my girl, because I was laid on my couch too. I was eating breakfast. So me and Aanu both laid on the couch trying to chill and eat. And here he comes talking about, you need to sing for us. So I sat up and she sat up. Like, what's going on? And he gets mad. Somebody said the first time I say no. That's when you know how somebody is. He's like, wait, so you don't want to sing? You don't want to be open and sing for me? She's like, not right now, because I'm relaxed. Maybe some other time. And here comes the voiceover. Let me read my notes. Because at this point, I was like, oh, he got us. When Patrick demanded she sing for him and she said no, he declared to the audience that the energy was off and the connection was gone. Y'all, the voiceover is him saying, oh, she won't sing for me. This is over. I knew he was going to be mad when the mask slipped off, but he didn't just say, I'm masked. Somebody said this ain't coming to America. Y'all are funny. He literally said in the voiceover, oh, the connection is off. My spleen don't like her. Bitch, if you won't dance and sing when I tell you to dance and sing, my spleen don't like you. So he's like, oh, word. You're not gonna sing? She's like, no. He's like, all right, well, bet, check it. The date is over. Thank you for your time. You stupid ass bitch. Well, he didn't say stupid ass bitch, but it was implied. I felt it. I felt like the stupid ass bitch was implied. And you know who else felt it? Aanu. Because when she left the date, she was like, what the fuck just happened? You guys, imagine the love bombing of someone saying, I'm an intuitive healer. Okay, I do human design. I'm a coach. I believe in splenic awareness. come and lay on this couch and eat my cucumber sandwiches. Right? Imagine this man has told you that he's an evolved black man. I know I'm Nigerian, Jamaican, but I'm the most evolved part of my ancestors. So now you're thinking you with hocus pocus, about to have you an ethereal good time. And the minute you say, baby, I don't feel like singing today, he gets up and he leaves. Date is over. Not somebody said, not him trying to hurt her out for some cucumbers and eye mask patches. Yeah. This man gave her some snacks and an eye mask and thought that was enough to be able to demand her to start singing. And I was taken aback. I was like, that's weird. I said, no, that's weird. There's red flags and then there's question marks. This wasn't even a red flag. It was a huh? So now I'm watching the show like, Blue, this don't feel good. This don't feel good. And the first thing I thought about was when we were talking about my story time a couple weeks ago was spiritual narcissism. There are some people who are spiritual narcissists where they use spirituality as a way to hide their narcissistic traits, right? They say all this hocus pocus, healing, light bearing, positive vibes only. They say all this stuff that's supposed to be so evolved, and yet there's one thing they don't tell you. You can't have any free agency. And the minute you say no, you will be discarded. Now, guys, what other group of people, when diagnosed properly by a healthcare provider, are known for laying it on thick fast, robbing you of your free agency, and then discarding you the first time you say no or anytime when you say no? Ding, 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 narcissist. So I'm not going to say that I'm diagnosing him as a narcissist, but I'm saying he's narcissistic. Somebody said, thank you to Joe Loves. Joe just posted, the imitation of the voices are sending me. Oh, my bad. Am I doing imitations? I didn't know I was doing imitations. Yeah. Spiritual narcissists are love bombers. Yeah. So now I'm like, not only is he love bombing, he's also breadcrumbing, right? Because all you did was give her an eye patch and some cucumbers. Why did you think that she owed you this much for the little bit that you gave her? Somebody said, hey, Blue, yeah, he's a man child, and she definitely dodged a bullet. Well, she didn't know that because, guys, what do you think happened? In the same way that I felt weird, raise your hand if you've ever dated somebody who was a little bit manipulative, and you'd walk around just doing regular things, but walk away feeling weird when you left them. Like, did I do something wrong? I can't think of anything wrong that I did. I remember I told you guys in a previous story time that I was talking to this guy, and he told me he had a dream about being part of an art show. And I told him, hey, I know people who can connect you. And he immediately got upset. Because in his mind, how dare you tell me it's easy for you to do something for me that I couldn't do for myself, right? So in this moment, she's walking away weird, like, why do I feel funny? So guess what Aanu does, guys? This is a cautionary tale. Mind you, Aanu is a boss babe, okay? She's a gorgeous boss Niger babe who is shrinking for an unemployed man. So I'm bringing this up because a lot of you are her. A lot of you can run circles around the men that you date. Now I'm just talking about myself. Let me chill. That felt like friendly fire. Let me chill. Right? A lot of you, so look at y'all raising your hands. A lot of you are bigger than the men that you date and you shrink to keep them. Right? You shrink to keep them. And honestly, this is gender neutral. I will actually say this is gender neutral. When you are ready for love and you have an opportunity to be with somebody who's 80%, and they will say 80% is good enough, right? But that 20% is full of some bullshit. That's actually a bunch of red flags. You guys, the 80-20 rule doesn't work if the other 20 are nothing but red flags. For those who like to take notes when you watch my lives, can we write this down? The 80-20 rule doesn't apply if the other 20 is nothing but red flags. The way the 80-20 rule was supposed to go is there are 80% of things that are essential that I get from you, and there are 20% of things that are non-essential that I can get elsewhere. The 80-20 rule did not mean that you 80% make sense and you 20% got me fucked up. So this man, who's supposed to be Deepak Chopra dipped in Nigerian chocolate, tells her, oh, you're not going to sing for me? Bet, this date is over. She feels bad, and guess what she does? She writes him a song. Oh, bon Dieu. Rather than recognize, hey, babe, if a man walks out the room and storms off the first time you say no to him about something this small and reasonable, maybe that's a sign for you to pause. Instead of pausing, she feels so bad about the fact that she didn't sing for this man. She writes him a song. That's the exact moment that I knew that we had to do this live. That is the exact moment I was like, oh, no, 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 no. And the voiceover, she says, I've had writer's block for a while, but this was important. So not only are you writing him a song, you're giving him something that you didn't even give to yourself yet. The 80-20 rule doesn't apply if the other 20 is red flags. Noted, right? Clark it. So she's saying she hasn't even been able to write songs for herself, basically, right? She's had a writer's block. But she is so scared of how this man stormed out of their romantic date after he had lulled her into a false sense of metaphysical fucking comfort and security, that she is now going against her own instincts and writing for him in a way that she couldn't even write for herself. That's a trauma response, guys. I'm like, oh, this is trauma. She even said, she was like, yeah, no, I hope he likes it. So here's the part that made me want to get up and go take a walk. If I wasn't cramping, I would. She walks up looking cute. You can tell she smelled good. And they have a date. And she sits down. Ooh, this is going to hurt my heart. I don't even feel like recreating this. She sits down and she says, so I felt bad when I didn't write you that, when I didn't sing for you a couple days ago. And I felt really, well, knowing the show was like yesterday because they did every day. I felt bad yesterday when I didn't, like, sing for you. So I have you one better. They're British. I'll do you one better. I actually wrote a song specifically about you and our love. I wrote you a song. And now I'm thinking, oh, he's going to feel bad because he didn't want her to, he wanted her to sing at the drop of a hat, but she went and wrote a song. That's way above what he deserves. I look at the screen. This man is staring at the wall that she's on the other side of, stone-faced. And he sits up and he says to her, first of all, he's not excited. I wrote in my notes, he's not excited when she says she wrote a song. And then he starts to grill her on why he wasn't good enough for her to sing for him when he asked the first time. If you ask someone to sing, who's a singer, to sing for you, and they say, hey, I don't feel like singing right now. And then the next time they see you, they say, hey, remember I didn't feel like singing last time? I wrote you a song. I'd be like, oh my God, you wrote me a song. He said, oh, word, you wrote me a song. So why didn't you sing when I asked you to sing the first time? Since you want to write songs and stuff. Y'all, at this point, I am like, okay, this has escalated very quickly. And you can tell she's looking at the thing like, wait, what? But I wrote you a song. The song did not exist until 24 hours ago. I sat down, talked to God. The God that I talk to every morning when I call my mama for scriptures. During my prayer hour, talked to God and wrote a song about you. And now I want to sing it. This man says, man, I don't know how to say this, but it's a shame you didn't want to sing when I asked you. In fact, my spleen has told me that you ain't it. The fact that I wasn't good enough for you to sing for me when I asked you, basically, fuck you and your little song. I hate to say this, but we're over. Y'all, is this what happens when y'all find black men in the UK who actually like black women? This is all y'all can find? This is all y'all can find? Yes. Let me breathe. I spent all this time excited that for some reason they were able to find black men in the UK who like black women. And this is what y'all came up with. A demon. There's many more demons. A demon. And she's like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, I hate to tell you, but it's over. Dumps her and leaves. We've never heard her song, y'all. I hope she releases it on Spotify. To this day, all we heard was about 3 little hums of him, her practicing. She was in the girls' lounge practicing the song, y'all. Someone said he did her a favor because he was not it. Let me look at my notes. I said him and his spleen could go kick rocks. Now, how does a spleen kick rocks? Somebody said, this exchange is why I no longer watch Love is Blind. They be putting women in abusive situationships like this. This abuse is intentional on TV. I don't like this. Y'all, I hate to be the one to defend the producers. He almost got me. He almost got me. I was like, okay, he's a little weird. I'm not sure he's employed, but at least he's tender, right? What did I say earlier? Jeremiah, not the most pro-black man in the world, but he's tender. We're so deprived for visions and depictions of tender black men and brown men on TV that honestly we'll take it wherever we can get it. She went above and beyond, and just because she didn't do it on command just shows he did not deserve her. So let me look at my notes. So it gets worse, guys. So now I'm just like, this man's a demon. This man, and I know whenever I say the word demon, I feel like there's a Nigerian in the room. So thank you for telling me they're both Nigerian. I was like, this man is a demon, right? And so he then goes on to say that if he didn't deserve it when he demanded it, then he doesn't deserve it now. And that he has to follow his spleen before accepting her gift, and he cannot accept her gift. She is devastated. And he says he's sorry that he'll never get to hear her sing. He puts the salt and he sprinkles it in the wound and says, oh man, I'm sorry I'm never going to get to hear you sing, bitch. He didn't say bitch, but it was implied. To me, that was a dirty shot. I'm sorry I'm never going to get to hear you sing, huh? Have a nice life. He felt rejected by her because she wouldn't act on command, and so he made it a point when the stakes were super high to reject her exactly where it hurts. Him feeling the need to say, why didn't you sing for me the first time? And I'm sorry I never get to hear you sing. When he could have just let her finish the song. He could have broken up with her and still said, I would love to hear the song. Or if he was polite, he could have let her sing the song and see if the song could have changed his mind and softened his heart. A bombastic goat is wild. It's not a bombastic goat. So you see how innocent this man looks? Demon. Then, as if this wasn't bad enough, he then goes and tells the boys in the men's lounge that he feels bad for her because she was expecting to be engaged with him, and she even wrote him a song. So he's at the boys' lounge laughing like, can you believe this bitch? Sorry, he didn't say bitch, but the bitch was implied. I heard it, okay? I'm woman enough to say when it's implied in my brain. This is not what he actually said. Can you believe this bitch wrote me a song and thought I was going to be your husband, child? Shit, what was your song 2 days ago, ho? That's what I heard. If there's anybody who watched this who heard something different, I don't mind dissenting opinions. What did you hear? I heard, bitch, you should have sang Eat the Cake Anime. You should have sang when I told you to sing. Aanu would have been Annie Mae for the rest of her life, eating the cake and dancing on command. And thank you for writing this. He also was a hater because he made it seem like she was desperate. And he ruined her prospects with other men by doing that. What man is going to take a woman seriously who wrote a whole song for another man who clowned her and then dumped her? The minute he did that, he destroyed her ability to find love on the show. What part of human design is that? What part of the spleen told you that I was okay? Right? We often say this, that there's nothing more dangerous in this world than a man who is embarrassed. People die when men get embarrassed. By the way, this is not me saying an opinion. I've said this before. There's been research. This is very important because it's not just about kikiing about the show. It's about the life lessons. Because I'm hoping that you can see yourself in the... I'm going to be honest, guys. Aanu and this guy don't actually remind me of me and Icky. The next couple reminds me of me and Icky, but it's close. It's close. It's icky-ish. So many of you act like these people. So the value in me as an EQ coach talking about these reality shows is that I want you to see them clearly so you can better see yourself more clearly. Most of you in this room, no offense, because your energies are very loud. Most of you in this room have shrunk for a man who was unreasonable, or shrunk for a woman who was unreasonable. Let's make it gender neutral, right? You've shrunken for someone who was ridiculous and potentially unemployed, only to have them play in your face and make you look sad and pathetic. Can we be honest? Can we all raise our hands? How many of you have had an unemployed weirdo embarrass you because you were trying to make him look better than he looked by shrinking yourself? I'll lift both of my hands. I would lift my feet too, but I don't want to fall off this chair. Right? Somebody said this man was trying to be actor Hertina. Yeah. A menace. An absolute menace. And so I want to shout out everybody in here who's admitting we cannot judge our sister because we've been her. We can pray for her. I'm actually hoping that her friends who are watching this back with her, I hope her friends came to her house at midnight last night, wherever she was, and watched it with her. I'm hoping her friends can sit with her and say, babe, look at the bullet that you dodged. I know you came back crying, but look at the bullets that you dodged. This is not meant to shame you. It's meant to reveal who you were and how much grace you need to show herself. And speaking of grace, when she went to the women's room, the ladies' lounge, she's devastated. And she tells the ladies that it's a shame that he let his fear take over because she was ready to get married. You guys, how many times did we tell this speech? I'm going to actually take them off for a second. You guys, hear the sound of my voice. The next time you offer to shrink yourself to be with someone who's not good enough for you, who themselves don't think they're good enough for you, even though you're like, no, he's good enough for me. He just doesn't believe in himself. The next time someone who you've had to shrink to even hold space with embarrasses you to the point of rejecting you, even though objectively you shouldn't have ever been entertaining them to begin with, please get out of the habit of saying, we could have been so good. It's a shame. He just let his fear take over. That's not fear, babe. He don't like you. And he don't like you because he can't manipulate you enough. He does not like you because even the shrunken version of you is too big for him. That's not fear. He just doesn't like you. And why am I saying this? Because I sound like an asshole, right? I'm saying this because when a woman says it's a shame that he let his fear take over because we could have been so good together, your ego still needs to believe that y'all made sense. And that is a lie. We only say it's a shame he let his fear take over when we're on some bullshit and we don't want to admit that we were embarrassing ourselves by shrinking for a man that even on our worst day we're too good for. That's not fear, baby girl. That's divine intervention. That man was not scared of you. While she's talking about, oh my God, he's so scared. It's a shame that he was so scared. This man is popping bottles and cackling with his boyfriend. Sorry. His male friends. I don't want to put accusations. She's calling him scared and saying it's a shame that he was so scared of our connection while he's living his best life, not even thinking about her, clowning her. A lot of you have done the same. A lot of you are in group chats, diagnosing, acting like you are Dr. fucking Ruth, diagnosing these men or women, depending on if you're an involved man yourself. You're diagnosing these fuck boys, which I use as gender neutral. Oh my God, his childhood trauma, his daddy didn't raise him, his mama didn't hug him, me and his mama got the same sign and the same nose. Y'all will make all these excuses, and by y'all I mean me too, okay? I'm not just the president, I'm also a client. We, pronouns matter, we will sit around and act like we are a therapist for a man who simply said, hey, I might be unemployed and have no job, I still don't want you enough to do anything about it. Even though being with you would upgrade my life, I don't like you enough to try. That's not fear. That's hubris. Why are you talking about my past self like that? Child, I'm talking about all of us. So the minute she was like, it's a shame. Girl, it's not a shame. It's not a shame that a fuck boy didn't choose you to fuck over any further. We have to stop nursing these demons' egos. I cannot tell you how many times my client will be like, Blue, because I do a lot of readings. My clients, one of the most popular things that women who are my clients and queer men actually who are my clients always say to me is, Blue, I want to do a reading about if he knows that he fumbled the best thing that ever happened to him and how. I was like, what? Girl, he didn't like you. Like, why are we doing all this? Well, did it change his life? No, it did not change his life. Mind you, I get about 3 or 4 of those calls a week. So if anybody thinks I'm talking about them, the answer is yes and no, because there's so many of you. I hear this speech so much, and you know what changed me from seeing it the way that y'all see it? My spirit guides laugh at them. My spirit guides are always like, he don't really care that deep, and she's like gassing it up. It's not that serious. She was inconvenient, and he only liked her because she was convenient. Guys, I'm going to repeat what my spirit guides have said to me and many of my clients who've cried afterwards. If somebody is dating you or entertaining you because you're convenient, they will have no problem throwing you away when you become inconvenient. That's not fear. They're not scared of you. So many of you are convinced your exes were just too scared. They're not scared. They didn't give a fuck. Here's the thing, guys. Your ego needs to think they're scared because scared means you're so big and amazing that you were too much for them. Oh my God, my love was too much. My heart was too deep. Oh my God, I love so much, right? That feels good to the ego to say, this scared little boy couldn't handle my bigness. First of all, you were shrinking, so that's weird. No. A lazy person who was using you for convenience let you go when you stop being convenient. Somebody said, oh, my chest, that was sharp. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. Do they still think about me? No, unless they're bored and they want an ego stroke. They think about you when they're bored and they know your eyes light up like a fucking dog every time you see them and you start wagging your tail. So they call you because they need the ego stroke. Because the last girl that they actually liked, they put effort into, hurt their feelings. So they want you. They want you to be a cheap facsimile of what she couldn't be for them because they actually cared about her. So yeah, that is the story of Patrick and Aanu. You guys, I'm doing these in order of from good to questionable to bad. So now, I said earlier that Patrick and Aanu is what made me think I might have to go live. I might have to go live. Yeah, I think I want to go live because this man is making me mad. They're the ones who made me think, Blue, you might have to go live even though you're sick. But the couple, I'm trying not to get mad. Okay. For those who were triggered by Patrick and Aanu, just know it's about to get 10 times worse. It's about to get the official demon of love. Okay, let me stop before I start. Here comes the male baddie. Y'all know I get triggered by male baddies. Anybody who knows my past dating experiences that I've shared on here will understand why I was heavily triggered by this third couple and had to smoke a J, legally obtained, and have a conversation with myself about social responsibility before agreeing to do this live. For those who are wondering why I keep applying lip gloss, I'm dehydrated because I'm sick. Somebody said, too bad, I thought it was there. No, it's about to get 10 times worse. Patrick and Aanu is small work. So here's the thing. The first couple that we covered, for those who came late, watch the replay. The first couple that we covered was 2 healthy people who were in a love triangle with an unhealthy person, and they discarded her and lived happily ever after, up until season 4. So the second couple was a woman who was a boss babe. Oh, I didn't read the verdict. The verdict that I wrote for Patrick and Aanu was, verdict, he's a spiritual narcissist, and she's an alpha woman who's willing to move to act more beta to not die alone. So that's my verdict for the second couple, right? A spiritual narcissist meets an alpha woman who wants to act beta just to not die alone, and she inconveniences him, and so he discards her. Like most narcissistic people do. They discard you when you're inconvenient. That was level 2 fuckery. We are about to be in a cold blue for this third group. The notes that I have on this third group are twice as long as my notes for the first 2 group combined. I don't wish this man well. I wish him. Oh my! I do not wish this man well. I think he's a bad person. The man that I'm about to talk about, I think is a bad person. I think he's a bad person. All right, Blue, breathe. Let's look up the couple that triggered me and made me realize, fuck my feelings. Now I have to talk about these motherfuckers because I have to. Oh, bon Dieu. Let me look up a picture of them. Does anybody have any pictures of them yet? Let me put this in. All right. I'm going to share with you guys a picture of two Black couples that everybody, when they were watching the first two episodes, thought was going to be our favorite. Now you see these two couples, right? At the bottom is Aanu, the spiritual narcissist. I'm sorry, Aanu, the badass Nija babe, and Patrick, the spiritual narcissist, right? When they failed, we all thought to ourselves, okay, that sucked. We might need to talk about that on a live later. But the couple that was going to make all of us believe in love, and mind you, this man is not, he's not the demon. The demon I want to have on his own page because I don't even want the demon on my screen right now. I don't want the demon on my screen right now. Okay, so for those who are coming in late, we are about to start with the main show. The reason why I actually got out of my sick bed and put on some chapstick in my bonnet and came to do this live because I was so angry I could not wait another week for more episodes to come out. While Patrick is wasting Anu's time, Patrick and Anu are the couple at the bottom, right? So while Patrick is up here wasting Anu's time, we began to believe in love again because of this man right here. And this couple is called Katisha, Demola, and Javen. Now, this is Katisha, and this is Demola. And if I pronounce names incorrectly, I'm sorry because they were already saying Nigerian names with a British accent, so I have nowhere to go. Okay? So I'm apologizing ahead if the accents are wrong. Please correct me. I won't be upset. So Katasha, I'm looking at the spelling. Okay, Katisha and Demola, right? So I'm going to call them Kitty and D so that I don't disrespect anybody. This is Kitty. This is D. D is sent from heaven. You understand me? Sent from heaven. And we're about to talk about what happens when God finally answers your prayer and you're not ready. Demola, Nigerian, Yoruba. I have notes here, guys. His granny was his bestie before she passed away, and he loves a Black woman named Katisha, who he calls my little Scottish lass. Yeah, Katisha is also Scottish. Now, when I think about Kitty and D, which is what I call them in my head, because now they feel like family. Kitty reminds me of me in the early 2010s. I'll never forget, I had just finished like becoming obsessed with The Secret. Because you know, back in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, everybody was obsessed with The Secret. When The Secret first came out and they were talking about manifesting, right? Ask, believe, receive. I remember thinking to myself, well, bitch, you're already a witch. You're already psychic. I wonder if you using The Secret could like be like you on steroids. So one Monday morning, and this is going to all come back to Kitty and D. One Monday morning, I get the idea in my head that there's a local civil servant, I won't say the job, there's someone who I really have a crush on who works in my neighborhood. And I tell myself, I'm going to see if I can manifest this person calling me this week. So it's Monday. I'm like, Blue, every day, do what you learn from The Secret to see if you can manifest your crush hitting you up. Because my crush had my number. I don't have crushes anymore. I'm too old for that shit. We either like each other or we don't. So on Monday, I manifest. I'm going to see him. I'm going to see him. I'm going to see him. He's going to call me. He's going to be like, Blue, I miss you so much. I started doing everything I learned about. Make sure you feel the feelings of what you want. Make sure you know what you're wearing, what you can smell, what you can. I was literally immersed in the knowing that he was going to call me. Monday comes, I manifest nothing. Tuesday comes, manifest nothing. Wednesday, Thursday comes, manifest nothing. Guess what happens on Friday afternoon? I shit you not. On Friday afternoon, on my 5th day of manifesting this motherfucker, I see the name pop up on my phone. I'm like, oh, okay. Bitch, you manifested a call. I get on the phone. You know when you already smug, so you feeling cute? I'm like, hello. He's like, hey, Blue, you won't believe this. I don't know what's going on, but you have been on my mind all week. And I'm like, really? Bitch, I knew what I was doing. You have been on my mind all week, and I'm just about to get off of work. Can I come over? Now, hold on. Bitch, I manifested this motherfucker calling me. Now you want to come over to my house? So I get excited and slightly aroused because, you know, I'm a nasty girl, whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, and it's a Friday night, and I'm about to be like, yeah, you could come over, and I turn around and look. My house is dirty. I spent 4.5 business days manifesting this mother sucker coming to my house, or at least calling me. Spent 4 days manifesting. And it worked. But at no time during that week did it occur to me, you might want to prepare your space for when he arrives. And so when my wish came true and said, can I come over? I had nowhere to put him. I said, actually, it's so crazy. I'm about to run errands. Can you come over in like an hour? He's like, nah, I'm actually down the street from your house because I work around here. I don't know if you remember. Of course I remember. It's like, I'm down the street from your house and I work around here and you are on my mind so heavy. Something said for me to drop by before I went home. I said, well, can we hang out tomorrow? I'm thinking, fuck, there's no way in hell that I manifested you and something as small as not cleaning my fucking house is going to stop you from coming over. I said, well, can you come over tomorrow? The response was, actually, it's crazy, but tomorrow I'm going on like a long trip, an international trip. That's why I wanted to see you on my way home because I had to go home to pack. And then said, it's a shame you weren't free tonight because I've really been looking forward to talking to you. I asked for a blessing. But while I was asking for the blessing, I was doing nothing to prepare my life for him. I was doing nothing to prepare my home to receive him. And that's the moment it hit me. We tend to ask for things in the future tense without preparing our ecosystem in the present tense, so that when the thing arrives, we don't have anywhere to put it. Right? My blessing had arrived, but I had nowhere to put it. Guess what happened on that international trip that my crush went on? Fell in love with somebody on the trip and they ended up being together for 3 years. And when they broke up, guess what came to my house and said, I always wondered why we didn't happen. You what? What? Yeah, you know, I always liked you. I had a little crush on you. Remember when I went to go see you before I went off to so-and-so, but like, you know, I ended up falling with, what's her name? Do you know that shit haunted me for years? Sorry, I couldn't even drink my water. That shit haunted me for years. That I had feelings for someone who had feelings for me, and I manifested them during a small window of time where we could have made it happen. I didn't clean my house. Why am I telling this story about Love is Blind, UK season 2? Katisha did not clean her house. She did not clean her. Oh, I'm getting so sad. Kitty did not clean her house. She begged. She literally was in the beginning of the show saying, y'all don't understand, man. I've been single for like 5-6 years. I haven't dated in a while and I just really want a good guy. And I'm just so tired of the apps. And I want a good man. And God gave her the best man in that compound. There were moments when he was talking where I started to tear up because his sincerity was like vapor. You ever seen somebody who's so sincere you get dizzy hearing them talk? His sincerity was so astounding that I was like, Kitty, please don't fuck this up. Kitty, please don't fuck this up. Y'all are wondering how did she fuck it up? Let's get into it. I'm pacing myself. I don't want to get mad. I don't want to call people's family members and children or whatever names, but I really want to call them names. So we see Kitty and her answered prayer, D, right? Somebody said Blue, Kitty and D. Look at the innuendos. My bad. You know I'm a little nasty. So let's look at our notes about Kitty and D when things were good. When I believed in love until she fucked it up for all of us. Let me breathe. Sorry, Kitty. Sorry. My bad, girl. All right. So D is a sweet Yoruba boy who loves his grandmother, and she was his bestie until she passed away, and is very, very loving, kind, securely attached, and demonstrative with Kitty. He doesn't want her to ever guess what she deserves. He will tell her up front. Katisha is when she talks about him, this is what she says about what Kitty says about D. Kitty says about D, oh my God, he is kind, he is generous, he is genuine. He's like a little boy at Christmas. She says, this man is so sweet. He reminds me of a little boy at Christmas. But I'm struggling with this amount of adoration. I am struggling with this amount of adoration because I am not used to this. It's too perfect. She says it's one of the girls. It's too perfect. It's too good to be true. How can you be so set on little old me? I've never been put first. I know how to love, but I don't know how to receive it. Direct quote. Oh, Kitty about to piss you off. Kitty's the reason why we're here. She's about to piss all of y'all off. God answered this woman's prayer. A Black woman in the UK looking for love. Can we explain how hard that is? For any Brits in here, explain to them how hard it is. A Black woman who likes Black men looking for love in the UK. And she actually found it. From a Nigerian man. Under 30. Boy. This does not happen, okay? This only happens, actually, he's probably at 30 exactly. This probably happens once in a blue moon. Everything working against her. Right? Everything working against her. Somebody said, this is my nightmare scenario. Despite the odds, her spirit guides, her ancestors, the casting directors, everything has conspired for Kitty to find a sweet, adorable Yoruba man who's in touch with his feelings despite what he was taught by his countrymen, and who does not believe that she owes him anything. Her mere existence is enough of a reason for him to love her. He actually says that in the show. He tells his boys, when he talks to his boys, he says, Kitty deserves love, and I deserve Kitty. I think I can make her happy. All he talks about is what she needs and how he's going to figure out how to give it to her. Now, what you can give him, we literally never hear him talk about what he wants from her. Somebody said, wait, Kitty is the demon. No, Kitty is y'all. So if you call her a demon, now y'all a demon too. Kitty is a hurt woman who doesn't know how to receive love. Kitty is a very hurt woman. Now, why do you think Kitty doesn't end up doing what we want with this man who is clearly sent by God? Who do we think stops it from happening? I'm going to look up the demon. The true demon of the season. The man who I hate with the heat of 1,000 suns, even though I have never met him, and I hope I never do. Let's look up his picture, because I need to find a big old picture of him. I need to find a big old picture of this piece of shit who's ruined our girl's life. You see, why are all the pictures so small? By the way, for those who do Love is Blind pictures, can y'all make them bigger? Because they be tiny as hell. Let me see. Is this a big picture of him? That's decent. He's not even cute like that. By the way, why is it whenever a man is about to ruin a woman's life and then you see his picture, our reaction is like, he's not even cute enough to be doing all this to you, right? We always say that, like, he's not even cute enough to be doing all this. He's not, but she like him, so we can't judge, right? Okay. This is the man who makes Kitty block her blessings. If you look up default Black man, it's a picture of him. I'm not attacking his looks. I'm just saying, for the amount of destruction that he ends up causing to our girl. Okay, let me not be ignorant and pull up a picture of them as an actual couple. I'm trying not to be ignorant. I'm trying not to be ignorant. I'm trying not to be ignorant. All right, open image. Here's a picture of them together. Here's the thing. Kitty's a beautiful woman. And so they're going to be a good couple just because she's a beautiful woman, right? This is the man who ends up ruining everything. Somebody said the demonic beard. Now, wait, how do you have a demonic beard? Wait, y'all just making stuff up now. How is the beard demonic, y'all? Somebody said, I feel like you're about to do a Virgo slander. Is he a Virgo? Please don't tell me he's a Virgo, child. Somebody found out Javen. His name is Javen. He's a demon. Somebody found out Demon Javen's name. Sorry, Javen. Javen. Names matter. Somebody look up Javen's name. I mean, his sign. Somebody said he looks like he would waste your time. I'm going to be honest. Every man who's wasted my time over the last 3 years looks like this. Every man who's wasted my time for the last 3 years looks exactly like Javen. Here's the thing about Javen, though. Javen is not as obvious as you think. Because when Javen first comes on the screen, I at first thought he was going to be like Patrick, right? The first thing he says is he has cats. He's a nerd who has cats, right? So Javen is the charismatic, toxic, nice guy. He seems sweet at first until he starts talking about how he's competitive, how despite having cats and looking unassuming and only being 28 years old, he can charm his way into most women's pants. And as the other men are about to go into the pods, and this is where his mask falls off, he says, "You better hope I don't steal your girl." Oh, why is a man, a 28-year-old who has cats, why is a 28-year-old cat lady saying, "You better hope"? He's a Libra demon. Okay, now I feel even more vindicated, y'all. This man is a 28-year-old cat lady. And so I'm like, oh, he's sweet. I hope the girls don't break his heart. Because at this point, I've already seen D, and D is sweet. I've already seen Patrick. Patrick seems sweet at first, just slightly unemployed. So now I'm seeing Javen. I'm like, oh, God, is this just nothing but sweet black guys who are not going to get picked because they're so sweet? Joke on me. The cat is a distraction. Okay? The cat is a distraction. You probably didn't even feed that cat. Let me stop. Let me not make accusations. Thank you. He's a covert demon. That's the worst kind. One of my favorite bars from Insecure was when a character played by Dominique, shout out to Dominique, said to Jay Ellis's character, "You are the worst kind of fuckboy. You're a fuckboy who actually thinks you're a nice guy." So when this starts, I'm thinking, somebody said, hey, well, Libra men maybe. Yeah. So when I first see this man, I'm thinking, oh, Kitty, God answered your prayer twice. You have two sweet black men to choose from. Oh, it's gonna be easy, right? It's gonna be a fun thing. We're gonna watch a black woman be chosen by black men and be able to choose between who's nicer to her. They say these things to be in the female gaze and they trap us. Exactly. Javen, I don't wish you any good. Let me tell you right now, we're only 4 episodes in. So when I decided that Javen meant that I had to do this live, right? Because Patrick made me feel like I wanted to do the live. Javen made me realize I had to do this live. First red flag with Javen, I'm thinking, problematic, but he's young. Second red flag, I'm thinking, okay, that was a little manipulative. By the end of episode 4, I despise this man. I despise this man. I have never had someone fall from grace this quickly from the male species watching one of these shows, because we tend to walk in already cautious around the men who are on these shows, right? We know that because there's 100 women for every one man, even the most stable woman might be like, fuck, I need a husband. Let me go on the show, right? But we know that because there's 100 women for one man, if a man's on the show, he's probably just clout chasing. It's very rare that you find men who are on these shows for the right reason, particularly black men who know that they're the top of the food chain for us and the other races. So for him to convince me at first that he might have been harmless, I told myself maybe the "you better hide your girl" comment was just, he was just being funny, right? He was just being funny. I despise this man now. Let's go over my notes, because I feel like I'm just going to talk shit. I wrote notes because I was getting so mad. I knew that if I did not write notes, I would just be talking shit about this man for half an hour. So he says that he can charm his way into women's pants, and that he tells the other man, "Be careful before I steal your girl." This is what Katisha says about the 2 men when she goes on dates. She tells her homegirls, "I know exactly where I stand with D. Demola is just amazing. He makes sure that I always know where I stand. But with Javen, I don't ever know how he feels." So she goes on a date with Javen and she tells him, "Yo, I've been dating another guy. I just want to be transparent with you. And I realized the other man is very demonstrative. He's very clear about how he feels about me. He leaves no space for confusion. But you're playing it cool, though." And guess what Javen responds? "I can't play it any other way." I beg your finest pardon. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm so mad my fucking cap is going down. We are on a heteronormative dating show where the premise is that men and women go into pods to learn about each other's personality so that the man can get on one knee and propose. That's heteronormative, guys. Okay, so I want you to understand the frame. Forget your progressive thoughts. The framework of this show is intentionally heteronormative. If a man likes a woman enough, he can choose her by proposing to her. Traditional male-female roles as the premise of the show, right? And so you know that the premise is you're trying to figure out who to pick. And you have to make her feel safe enough to say yes to you picking her within a week of only knowing her. So what do you mean playing it cool is all you know? A show where you get engaged after a week to somebody you've never seen is not where you play it cool. So at this point, I'm like, Javen, what is happening right now? Why do you look like Trey Songz all of a sudden? What's going on? Where's your cat? Okay? Sorry, guys. More lip gloss. A man who had the cat is not supposed to act like this. Somebody said, I only watched episode 1 and 2. So now, again, I am confusion. Then she asked him, to the person who said she was begging. Then she asked him to put his cards on the table. And he responds that if he does that, that means that she doesn't like him enough. He tells her, if I have to put my cards on the table and risk rejection, you don't like me enough. I'm not doing all that. At this point, I'm like, I know who you are. A man who says that he will never, ever, ever, ever admit to wanting something or someone bad enough to risk rejection is a fucking coward. He's a time waster. He's probably a narcissist, and he is going to ruin your life. I refuse to date a man who is not adult enough to know that risk is a part of being a grown-up. If you want something bad enough, you have to risk rejection. You have to risk failure. A man who is too fragilely masculine to risk failure, even though everything about what she's done has shown you that she likes you. By the way, she's not playing hard to get. She's not playing hard to get. She's acting like she likes him and saying, look, there's someone who's crazy about me, but I like you so much. I want to give you an opportunity to course correct and to know this other man is actually being very clear. He's moving very swiftly. He's being very consistent. Do you want to up the ante so I have a reason to keep talking to you? And he's like, nah, I'm good. If I got to do all that, you don't like me enough. What does it mean when you come to somebody with the problem and by the end, they realize that they're the one who has to be apologized to? Darvo. His immediate reaction is to start a Darvo. A covert Darvo. Not the obvious Darvo where you deny an attack in an overt way. He does it in a quiet way. He's attacking her character covertly. Like, wait, if you're the kind of woman who needs me to put in effort and time and energy and be transparent and communicative for you to know that I like you, then maybe you're just too sensitive. I don't do all that. I like to keep it cool. He's denying that he's not putting in enough effort and attacking her character, but he's doing it covertly. Then he does what a lot of people who are manipulative, a lot of fragilely masculine men do. This is something that happened in my own story time. He tells her a sob story about the one time he gave a girl his heart and she dumped him. Ladies, if you tell a man you need him to be more transparent and he says, no, I'm not finna do that, I don't ever risk rejection, and then immediately tells you a sob story about the woman who broke his heart, he's immediately playing in your face. Immediately. Do not pass go. He tells her a story about how a girl broke his heart. And when he's done telling the story, he says, see, you wanted me to open up? I just opened up. You opened up by centering another bitch. Somebody said that story was a pack of ass. Damn. F-boys with F-boys. The question becomes, why haven't you grabbed your purse and left? He told her a stop story from like the 5th grade. It was old. It was like, yo, I went to Miss So-and-so's class and I didn't get no ice cream. So it was like a low stakes story about rejection, allegedly, that did not make him look bad. Right? So he congratulates himself on being open with her and says, hey, you said you wanted me to be more open. And he smiles and shrugs at the camera like, hey, you wanted me to be more open. Look at me being open. She says, my other connection is more clear and makes more grand gestures, though. Because she's like, okay, you told me a story about another bitch from your childhood, but like the other man is making grand gestures. And he responds, well, if I'm not your number one, what's the point? What did I say about men who only with you because you're convenient? He said, if I have to inconvenience myself by earning my number one spot, then what's the point? I should just be number one just for breathing air. It's getting icky, low key. Oh, honey, I was triggered. This is the part where I actually started smoking the J. I was so heavily triggered. I said, I know that's not, I know Love is Blind did not just steal my, bitch stole my look. Because you have to think about it. This show was taped around the time that I was going through my bullshit. So at this point, I'm like, oh, this is not a good person. So now I'm thinking to myself, Letitia, why the fuck did God send you an angel, but you're crying over a demon? You have a, mind you, this is called Love is Blind. It's not because they're attractive. They both are behind a wall. We like to tell ourselves that women pick the asshole because he's fine, he's attractive, he's charming, he dresses nice, right? All the things that y'all said about me and Nikki. But this is Love is Blind. She can't see either of these men. I think that's what's brilliant about this show. It shows you how our dysfunctions are not as shallow as we think. We think women are shallow because a man is tall. We think women are shallow because a man has nice teeth or veneers. We think women are shallow because, you know, they picked a man who would make better babies. But this show just showed all of us, me included, that even when you're talking to a wall and have no idea what the man looks like, if you are not healed, you will always move like a kitty. Now, why did Katisha move like this? Let me explain to you why. Another story, another analogy. Because unlike my co-host, y'all actually do like my analogies, my metaphors. When I was a kid, I went to an Irish Catholic school where we would put pennies in a box and collect pennies all year long and then send them to Africa. Yes, this was the 90s. This was very problematic. So we would save pennies for Africa. Pennies for Africa was the most popular fundraiser that we had in our school. Chocolate was second. So saving pennies for African people was first and selling chocolate was second. One day, I went up to my teacher and I was like, why are we sending pennies to Africa? If they're hungry, can't we just send them sandwiches? Because I'm pragmatic, okay? As a Taurus sun, Virgo moon, I'm like, fuck a penny, just send a sandwich. Somebody said, yes, I too save pennies for Africa. Y'all, I'm not making this up. It sounds very racist right now because the 90s were racist. But like, I'm not making this up. So I'm like, fuck the pennies. I want to send them a sandwich. And I will never forget this. This probably was my first EQ lesson of my entire life. I was only about 7 or 8. I was a baby. My teacher, Sister Mary Beth, who I think was a closeted lesbian. She had a very vast array of plaid shirts. It's a whole other life for another day. Sister Mary Beth, in her butch wisdom, looked into my little 7-year-old face and she said, Emanuela, because that's my government name. That's what people called me until 1999. You guys started calling me Blue in the late 90s. This was before that. She was like, Emanuela, we can't do that. And I said, why? Somebody said, Blue, please. What? The lady was gay. It's okay. Be who you are for your pride. What? Y'all know I'm all about the alphabet crew. So she's like, Emanuela, we can't send sandwiches. Now I'm getting mad like, bitch, why can't we send sandwiches? I send shit back to Haiti all the time. Like, what's the problem? Not that you're just making up problems. This is why they tested me out into a different school, because I was always calling teachers out whenever I thought they were on some bullshit. She's like, well, let me explain to you how fasting works. I was like, what? Fasting? What the fuck does God do? They're not fasting, they're starving. She said, no, Blue, listen. Sorry, Emanuela, listen. When a child has been malnutritioned for days, weeks, or months, right? To this day, I still think the sandwiches were a good idea. When a child has been malnutritioned for days, weeks, or months, their body gets used to starving. And anybody who's ever fasted can confirm this. When you have not eaten food or anything nutritious in a long time, your body starts to do that thing where you can hear your stomach bubbling. You know that bubble noise when you're hungry, blah, 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 right? Your stomach starts to eat itself. All the acid starts to eat itself. Your body starts to realize, oh shit, we are in a stage of fasting. And eventually your body starts to think we're in a state of famine. When you are in a state of famine for a long period of time, and you have not had anything good to eat for a very long period of time, guess what happens the first time you try to eat a plate of something good? You throw it up. When the human body has gone without nourishment for a long time, it can't go from famine to feast because it doesn't know how to feast anymore. So the way this works, Emanuela, and she looked me in my face, she was very sincere. First, we have to send them those pennies so the missionaries can get them soup. Yes, they throw up, right? We have to send those pennies so the missionaries can give them soup. Then they can give them fresh vegetables. And as their body learns slowly but surely how to get used to food again, how to be used to nourishment again, eventually, with time and care, they can eat sandwiches. And that's why we send the pennies, because they need the broth and the veggies, and they can work up to the sandwiches. Now, at 7, I was used to winning debates. This bitch shut me up. Did I just call another bitch? My bad. Sister Mary Beth, sir. He look. I think Sister Mary Beth was someone who had a gender identity that she didn't know how to embrace. So that's why I'm struggling to call her she, because I think if she was still alive right now, she'd be going by different pronouns. But Sister Mary Beth was like, does that make sense, Emanuela? And I was like, yeah. You see what y'all saying? So D is the sandwich. Y'all see where I'm going with this, right? So when I started doing work with emotional intelligence, and the people at the Harvard think tank were like, hey, we're writing for children's books. I mean, for children. So like, do y'all have any stories about a child where an adult taught you an EQ lesson? I immediately thought about Sister Mary Beth and her plaid shirts. I was like, guys, I just thought of something. I got this speech from a nun when I was like 7 or 8 about why we can't just force feed kids, starving children in different continents, sandwiches. I feel like the same thing happens to the spiritual body and the intellectual body and the emotional body. When someone has gone without love for a very, very long time, when someone has gone without sustenance, affection, community, affirmation, emotional safety for a very long time, they learn to go without. They learn to give without receiving. They learn to make concessions. They find their identity now becomes tethered to the lack, to the absence of, right? That speech that Katisha was giving about how she was looking for love and had never found it, it felt like a very well-rehearsed speech. It was home to her. When we have been starved of emotional affirmation, we are no different on a how do I say this? Energetic level than those children who are starving in those maldeveloped countries, right? And so when you are doing that, when you are trying to give a feast to someone, a feast of love, affirmation, affection, and support to someone who's gone without for a very long time, what are they going to do, guys? They're going to throw it up. When someone who has been starved on love for a very long time finally gets a feast, but had nothing to work up to it, they are guaranteed to throw it up, except we call that self-sabotage. What did she keep telling those ladies? Kitty kept telling the ladies in the ladies' lounge, he's too nice. He's too good to be true. Why is he so set on me? Why me? I'm used to giving, but I don't know how to receive yet. Even though we're seeing a man who is loving and kind and supportive, being transparent with the woman that he cares about, she is seeing a threat to the very way that she processes life. Her body does not know how to process love. It can process games. It can process lack. It can process fuckery. It cannot process the big old fucking footlong, right? The big old fucking subway footlong of love that D was trying to give her. We saw him being there for her. Her body perceived it as an attack. Exactly. Operating in a survival frequency. Let me look at my notes. So she admits to herself at one point, because the ladies are like, girl, this man is amazing. What the fuck are you doing? And she finally admits to him on their next date, to Demola, right? She says to him, D, I have to admit that I wasn't allowing myself to love you. So this is where I start to get excited, guys, right? This is where I start to get excited. She admits to him that she wasn't allowing herself to love him. And it's true. She wasn't allowing herself to love him. And admits that she, if she was being objective and wasn't being scared, could definitely see this working. Direct quote, because I wrote quotes in my notes. I could definitely see this working. and admits that she could see her falling in love with him, because he says, could you see yourself falling in love with me? Because a man or woman who is securely attached does not want to waste their time, right? They don't want to set themselves on fire to keep you warm. They want to be there for you, but within reason. So he asked her, could you see yourself falling in love with me? And she says, don't worry. I could totally see myself falling in love with you, and nothing is going to change that. I feel confident in my decision. Oh, boy. She tells this man, I choose you because I could see myself falling in love with you. The way that you love me is everything I've ever dreamed of. Don't worry. Nothing is going to change that. I am sure about my decision. The PTSD we can get from someone loving you the wrong way is truly heartbreaking, yes. Right? And the way that I always say it is, imagine you have a rescue dog, because my friend Rosa is always saying that if I get a dog, she wants me to get a rescue. If a rescue dog has been kicked and abused over and over again by its master, kick, 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 kick. When you go to adopt that dog and you reach over to hug it, it's going to bite your hand and think you want to kick it. People who are used to emotional abuse can't tell the difference between a hug and a kick. Any touch feels like dangerous to them, right? D touched her heart, but she couldn't tell if it was an attack or not, which is why I'm so happy the women held space for her. They were like, girl, you are about to block a blessing. This man is doing for you what the best case scenario of this entire show is, right? What he's doing for you is the best case scenario of why all of us are even here. We all left our families for 6 weeks to do what you are being blessed with. How dare you ruin this? And so she apologizes and says, you know what? I believe in us. Then she does what women like her always do, women like me have always done. She decides to be transparent with the demon. She decides, somebody said, yes, D. She's so D that I want to give us a chance. After she admits to D that she could see it working and that she's clear about her decision to pick him, she decides to tell the demon that she is going in another direction. One of the things that Icky has taught me that I've infused into my teachings is stop being vulnerable with people who are unsafe. I'm a very vulnerable, transparent person. I regret being transparent and vulnerable with certain people. It is foolish to not have caution when you are sharing with people who are not kind, who are not healthy, who are not safe. And so what happened is she decided to be transparent with someone who wasn't safe. And this is where everything gets ruined. Because at this point, episode 3, I'm like, a really nice Yoruba boy met a really pretty girl who needs love, who's always giving. And they have just declared their love for each other. Could it be that we could have another Lauren and oh boy? Could it be Cameron? Could it be another episode where, like Ace and Shelley or Nicolandria, where we get to root for a Black woman being loved properly and vaingloriously with no exception? Could it be? Could it be? Let me look at my notes again, because you guys, the notes are keeping me from getting so mad. She goes on a date with Javen, determined to break up with him for breadcrumbing her, right? She recognizes that he's breadcrumbing her. He's giving her just enough to let her, like a pigeon, to nibble on, but not enough to feast on, right? He's breadcrumbing her. She goes to him and says, Javen, we need to end this. We need to end this because I gave you an opportunity to make things right, and you said, well, that's just how I am. So I have met somebody better. Somebody said, why didn't you say Tiffany and Brett? I was going to say Tiffany and Brett, but I couldn't remember their names. Thank you for reminding me. So whenever I can't think of Tiffany and Brett, I always say Cameron and Lauren. But Tiffany and Brett is who I had in my mind, so thank you for calling that out. That's exactly what I was trying to figure out. So Tiffany and Brett is who I thought that Dee and Kitty were going to be. Yeah, not so much. Not so much. So she goes to Javen and she breaks up with him. Can we all clap for the fact that she goes to Javen and she breaks up with him? Because that's what the girls who are smart are supposed to do, right? We all said earlier, why didn't Aanu pick up her purse and leave when Patrick was talking about his spleen for 30 minutes? She actually did the thing. So now I'm watching the show like, yes, this is amazing. And this is great. I was actually about to text Jesse. I think we actually have a good season coming up. I was literally, my fingers, I'm not even being dramatic. I had the phone like this. I've been texting Jessie about her trip to Grenada. I had the phone like this, about to text her. And then they kept talking. She says to him, well, it's over. If you want to leave now, you can leave. You know what Javen says to her? He said, no, I really liked you, and you broke my heart. Wait, pause. You broke my heart. You just told us earlier that you were a bad bitch and you don't want to. He says, nah, I'm going to finish my drink. Since you broke my heart, the least you could do is let me finish my drink. And he's like, wait, what? He's like, I'm not leaving. You broke my heart. The least you could do is let me finish my drink. Girl, this is the part where you run. This is the part where you run. Why didn't you run? I feel like I was watching the female version of Get Out. So she says, because she's not used to this level of covert narcissism, she says, oh, well, if you're going to finish your drink, I'll finish mine too. What do you think is going to happen when you tell a fuckboy that you've chosen another man and they convince you to stay in the room afterwards? He said, well, since you broke my heart, can I just read to you while we have these drinks? No, girl, say no. At this point, I'm screaming at the screen. He says, can I just read to you what I wrote about you in my notebook when I first met you? She's like, sure. He read 4 sentences tops. Kitty, beautiful. We have great chemistry. Check, check. She's a sweetheart. Check, check. What a nice girl. I put another check next to her name. I would really like to get to know her. It was the most subpar compliments ever. Nothing specific about who she is as a person. But what did I say, guys? Women like Kitty, they're used to the chase. They're used to being with men whose approval they have to win. She didn't respect D at first because she didn't have to struggle to gain his love. He just gave it away. And she doesn't trust that she deserves a love that she doesn't have to struggle for. But now, Javen is making her work for it. Javen wrote 3 mediocre sentences that are not even a tenth of what D has said to her this entire time. And guess what happens? She starts crying and says, D, why didn't you tell me you felt like this? No, not D. Javen, why didn't you tell me you felt like this about me? I had no idea you felt like this about... Girl, he just said that you have a nice voice and he think you might be sexy. What? Excuse me? He read 3 or 4 mediocre sentences and she was like, so you do like me. I can work for your love. He's like, yeah, I told you I liked you. You were my number 1 choice. When did we know this? When did this happen? He told the boys. So at this point, I'm like, okay, wait, no. Sis, there's no way you're falling for this. Sis, please get up and leave. You just told D that you have decided on him. You're not going to change his mind. Meanwhile, while this is happening, guys, guess what D is doing? D is in the lounge. Oh, this is going to break my heart. While she's saying, oh, Javen, I didn't know you actually cared about me. Darvo, they've switched places, right? Yes, Darvo. While she's saying, Javen, I didn't know you cared about me. D is in the lounge telling his boys, hey, I'm about to propose to this girl. Can y'all help me work out what I want to say to her? Because I want to be intentional about how I approach her. She's such a good girl. I can't wait to love her. She told me she was sure about us. So while she is being gaslit by this cat lady, the man that she just vowed her love to is in the other room preparing to propose to her. By the end of the conversation with Javen, he is smiling from ear to ear. And this is where I realized you're not just a narcissistic fuckboy, you're an actual demon. Here's the thing about Javen. Javen is not stupid. Javen knows that Patrick is talking to Aanu. So he immediately knows the only other black man who I've seen talking about a girl that he really likes is D. He immediately understands that D is his competition. And this is the part where Javen doesn't give a fuck about Kitty. Javen doesn't give a fuck about Kitty. Javen wants to win. Javen's like, oh, this nice guy almost stole my bitch. Ha! Say less, my nigga. Javen doesn't give a fuck about Kitty. Javen wants to beat D. Somebody said that's why you let women like her crash out, because by forcing her to do the right choice, they hurt people. So this is what happens. Javen pretends to take it in stride. These are my notes. Javen pretends to take it in stride, but then gets a determined look in his eyes. He does that squint. Y'all were talking about how you saw somebody looking at me with a predatory squint during one of my podcasts. It's the same squint. I immediately recognize that squint. He then gets a determined look in his eyes, plays victim, suddenly starts acting like he felt strongly about her all along, accuses her of breaking his heart, then refuses to leave the pod because he wants to enjoy his drink. And while sipping, he reads his notes about her and lays it on thick. It's only a few sentences, but because he's given a story about how, you know, he's not good at doing gestures, this little bit of a gesture feels like a mountain to her. It said, Blue, tell the audience about negging. Oh, yes. I love that Blue from the past told me to say this. I already forgot. So what is negging, guys? Icky with predatory eyes. It was the same predatory eyes. And the predatory squint, by the way, guys, you guys have actually made me aware of it, because when we watched that pod episode back where the predatory squint happened, y'all schooled me on the predatory squint, because people squint me like that all the time. So I've been in danger for a while. And somebody also said he's going to punish her for initially breaking up with him. Oh, he spoiler, he punishes her before they even meet. We'll get into that in a second. So what is it that I said the notes about telling about negging? For those who don't know, in incel spaces, negging is what happens when a man thinks a woman almost got away from him, or thinks she's too good for him, or is insecure around her. And in order to make her shrink, he doesn't wait for her to shrink herself the way Aanu did with Patrick. He does something where at first he gives her what seems like 100%. And then he pulls back and gives her 50%. She freaks out and says, well, why are you only giving me 50%? He apologizes and gives her 80%. She's like, yay, I've won his affection back. Listen to that. He went from 50 up to 80. He doesn't ever go back to 100. So now she's thinking that 80% is amazing. In her mind, that 80% feels like 100% because he had already made her feel 50%. As soon as she gets comfortable with 50%, he brings it back. 80%. He brings it back down to 50% again. She says, wait a minute. I thought you told me you liked me. Why are we back at 50? He said, my bad, baby. Brings it back to 70%. Now this woman is excited that the man has given her 70%, not realizing that she started at 100. That is negging. Negging is when you give a woman 100% at first and slowly take it away completely. And when you bring it back, it's less than when you started. And so slowly but surely, the bar moves until she's feeling lucky for the bare minimum and forgetting that what she was getting at first was way more. We literally watch on episode 3 and 4 of Love and Bind, we literally watch a man negging. He says, first he says, I'm a cat lady. I'm so sweet. I'm so nice. Oh, I'm so sweet, so nice. Then, nah, I don't do grand gestures. I don't open up. I like to play it cool. That's just how I am. Then, hey, one time in the 12th grade, a girl broke my heart. Oh, look at me. I gave you more than I usually give. Take it back away. Oh, you want to pick another man? Oh, you want to break up with me? Fine, break up with me. Bring it back. Hey, can I read these 3 sentences real quick that I wrote about you in my notebook on a napkin? Guess what happens when she leaves the room? She starts crying to her friends like, oh God, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. She went from, I deserve good love, to, damn, I just convinced the fuckboy to give me the bare minimum. Maybe I should risk it. Push, pull, push, pull. Yep. You literally watching this man convincing her to dishonor herself. And here's the worst part. Maybe it's because he's 28. Javen doesn't pretend. The minute Javen confuses her, he stops being covert and then starts to revel in being a demon. He starts to revel in being a demon. Guess what happens the minute Javen walks back into the men's lounge, knowing that D almost got his girl to break up with him? This scene actually broke my heart, and it made me, this is why I hate Javen. I actually hate Javen. I hate him. I despise this man. Javen smugly goes back to the boys' lounge and says that the date was so amazing that moving forward, based on how much she likes him, the only way they'll be together is if she proposes to him. Boy, this man walks into the boys' lounge and tells everybody, including Demola, this date went so well. This girl, Kitty, likes me so much. The only way I will take her back is if she proposes to me. Ding, 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 ding. Sounds like another baddie. Crazy work. Ain't no way. Yes, there's a way. She proposes. He literally says, I have now, how dare you, bitch, make me put in effort. Because you tried to make me put in effort moving forward, I'm not going to date you unless you pursue me. And announces it to all the men in the room. You guys don't spoil it. I'm telling this in order. Stop jumping ahead, please. So at this point, I'm like, what is going on? And by the way, guys, you're jumping ahead. This is you're like 2 days away. What you're saying right now happens later. When he first finds out, he announces she has to propose to me. And they pivot the camera over to Demola, and D looks devastated and pensive. And my first thought is, I hope D does not take this as a reason to pull away from our girl. I hope he takes it as a reason to apply more pressure. And guess what? He does. He tells his friends, yo, I don't know what she's telling him. I don't know what she got going on with him. I know how she makes me feel. I know how I feel about her. I know the man I am. I know the love I can provide. I know the relationship that we could have. I'm clear about my feelings and my intentions, and that's all I can be clear about. I'm not going to let this man and his smug posturing stop me from pursuing the woman that I care about, right? Because an insecure man would let another man talk him out of loving her. He says, I'm going to let her speak for herself. That is emotional intelligence. If I like a guy and a girl tells me, oh, girl, I heard he was a hoe, X, Y, and Z, bad, I'll take that into consideration, but I'm going to talk to him myself. I would never break up with somebody or treat somebody horrible based on what somebody else said. Let me experience it for myself. If you end up being right, great. Now we both experienced it. But I'm never going to let you dirty Mac me out of a blessing. That's a good man, Savannah. So D works on the proposal. He goes. He sits down for the date with her. And he's thinking he's about to ask this girl to marry him. So D is preparing to propose while Javen is preparing to be proposed to. Javen's like, nah, you got proposed to me, ho. If we get married, it's because you got on one knee. You got proposed to me. At this point, I'm like, yo, there's no way in hell she gave D her word. She literally said, I am confident in my decision. I wrote it verbatim. I feel confident in my decision. There's no way you would tell a man, I feel confident in my decision, and then break up with, there's no way that's going to happen. She sits down with D for their next date after she's talking to Javen and tells him, I have to go with my gut. There goes the gut again, not the spleen, her gut. And she breaks up with Demola. After one conversation with Javen, she breaks up with Demola on the promise of the possibility of maybe he might like her. Your spirit guides just made your dreams come true. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry from the First of all, the fact that I'm on here sick with dry lips from being sick is just showing you how much I was upset by this. I need to be in bed. If my doctor sees this, I'll probably get cussed out. Let's bring the picture back up. Let's bring the picture back up. My heart is... You know what I always wonder? Why is it when Mary Claire and other magazines do these things of collages, they very seldom put the Black women in the collages, and if they do, it's always... Let me show you guys. So this is right here. If you're looking at the collage, this is the demon. This is the nice guy, right? And this picture doesn't do him justice. He's actually way more attractive than he is in this picture. So she breaks up with Demola. This is a horror flick. It really is. And you and John have me worried about lip wrinkles. Yeah. I'm putting a lip lock out. I don't want to be sick and get lip wrinkles. She breaks up with him and he does not explode. He was less explosive with her breaking up with him and taking back her word than Javen was with her breaking up with him when they had no agreement. He says, so, but you told me you were sure about me. What's changed? And she's like, I have another connection that I'm just more interested in. Then she leaves him and says to the audience, I'm so nervous that I've ruined everything with Javen by telling him about Demola. Wait, you're nervous that you ruined everything with a fuckboy who put in no effort? The man who's going around the villa looking for a wedding dress for him and his cat because you're going to have to propose to him. You're worried that you lost him? No effort, Larry. Hey, at this point, I said throw the whole show away. Throw the whole show away. Throw the whole show away. Because ain't no fucking way. Demola walks into the boys' lounge, quietly devastated. He doesn't make a scene. He doesn't speak ill of her. He just tells his boys, it didn't work out. Oh, this is Shakespeare. It is, you guys, it is Shakespearean levels of tragic. That's exactly what it is. It's a Midsummer's Night Dream. So now I'm like, Demola is taking this on the chin, right? And guess what Javen does? Javen goes into the room and she tells him, I've chosen you. Right? Because Demola was like, y'all, I'm so confused. She changed her mind overnight. You know Demola's happy about her changing her mind. So now she's having a date with the demon. And when she's sitting with the demon, she says, hey, I've been thinking about it. You're the one for me. And I've been thinking about it so much. I have a quote here because this quote actually made me want to throw up. She says, and I quote, I hope I haven't ruined it with Javen by telling him I had another connection. And in my notes, it says, that's the moment the Darva was complete. The person who was supposed to be getting courted is now chasing the person who did nothing. They've switched places. The Darvo is complete when she says that. Then she says to Javen, I would have been willing to get down on one knee if you and I were on the same page. She tells this man, she tells Javen, the man who read 3 sentences, Javen the baddie, had you not told me you still liked me, I was prepared to get on my knees and propose to you and beg you myself. And guess what Javen the baddie says? He smiles as wide as possible and he confirms, hey, that's so funny because I told the boys that I would only propose to you if you said you would propose first. Then he and her both laugh, he, about how little they both respect her. They laugh at their mutual disdain for her dignity. He tells this woman, I don't mean to scream, but I am so upset. This demon, right, who looks like his breath smells, this demon tells this baddie, right, who was too good for him, who he's now switched places with, so now he's the baddie. I'm so happy that you admitted that you would have gotten on your knees and begged me had I not liked you back, because I already told all my boys that I would only propose to you if you said that. Rubs it in her face that the only way that I propose to you is if you told me that you would propose first. Then he says, I didn't prepare shit for this proposal. So I'm going to just read it off the dome. Mind you, Demola was with his boys writing a heartfelt proposal. Javen's like, look, I didn't even put any effort into this, so I'm going to just speak from the heart. Somebody said, mutual disdain for her dignity is effing me up, Blue. But is it not that, though? Are they not laughing about how neither one of them respects her? Are they not laughing about how neither one of them respects her? Am I crazy? Laughing. Kiki, oh, really? Oh, my God. I'm so happy that I said it then. You are Katisha. Let me get your name right. If you can hear the sound of my voice, you are a co-conspirator in your own demise. Every bad thing that I know for a fact is about to happen to you, you co-conspired to make it happen. Somebody said, the man said, I hate you, and she giggled. Yes. And they cackled together like the end of a 90s sitcom. Ha, 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 ha. Cue the credits. Somebody said the general public needs to see this. Yes, I agree. Oh, but it gets worse. He then says to the audience, child, I want a prize that I wasn't even expecting to win. He doesn't call her a fiance. He calls her a prize. He says, I want a prize that I wasn't even expecting to win. Then he walks into the men's room loud as fuck and tells them, she chose me. All the men's faces are like, wait, what? Mind you, Javen's in the room. Javen always makes sure that when he's in the room, that he says everything in front of Demola. He wants to not just win, he wants to rub it in Demola's face. So in front of Demola's face, he says, yeah, I can't believe it. I had no idea she liked me like that, but she just told me I'm her first choice. Then he says, man, that's women. They don't know what they want. He starts clowning her to the men by saying, I know y'all are shocked that Demola put in all the work, but I pulled the bitch. Y'all, brothers, that's just women. They don't know what they want. He tells all the men, essentially, can you believe this dumb bitch picked me over the nigga who actually tried? That's just bitches, though. They don't know what they want. And Demola is standing right there. And guess what Demola says? This actually made me want to cry. Demola, the man that you are, says, well, enough of that, brother. If you're engaged, let's have a proper celebration. And they toast Javen. Demola shakes it off, decides that he's not going to be a sore loser, and says, if she's made her choice, then let's do a proper toast for you, brother. And he helps the men toast the nigga who just ruined the life of the woman that he actually is in love with. Everything he said to this point, he was happy he went over the competition. He did not care about the woman. Every time Demola talked about Kitty, even after she broke up with him, he talked about her character and her as a person. Even when Javen was winning, Kitty was just a prize, just a conquest. Even when he got her, she was never a person. She was never a woman. And that's who she chose. And that's who she was waiting to meet in the middle of the episode. For the sake of not ruining it anymore, I'm going to intentionally not say anything else. Florence says I'm crying now. Do y'all see why me being sick and dehydrated, I still felt compelled to come on here? Somebody said, send the man to America. We'll love him. Do y'all see why the fact that I should be on bed rest right now, drinking Pedialyte, I'm on here talking to y'all? Do y'all see why I, of all people, was so triggered? Saying she don't know what she wants about his fresh fiance is diabolical. You showed her less respect after getting her than the man who just got rejected by her. If this is You guys, the first 4 seasons of Love is Blind is always the easiest, most boring parts. The fact that I am this stressed out during what is supposed to be the easy part, I am nervous about this season. Because what happens when Kitty meets Demola in the group happy hours that they always have for people who were kicked off? What happens then? Thank you. I will feel better because I'm about to wrap this up soon. Somebody's saying now I gotta watch. I'm doing the Lord's work, embarrassing and traumatic. And my spirit is telling me, hold on, guys. I was gonna end this here, but my spirit is telling me to pull up video that I did about situationships. This video, a lot of you have probably seen it. It's my most popular video on TikTok. It has like 2-point-something million views, but something is telling me to play this video here. Let me see if I have it in my YouTube. Hold on. Because this is the video that I wish, if Kitty had seen this video, hold on. If Kitty had seen this video before she went on the show, not to toot my own horn, I doubt that she would have felt good about Javen. Now, I'm hoping I don't have to pull this up on my TikTok. I hate pulling up TikTok because TikTok is always a fucking mess. Let's see if I have it on my YouTube instead of my TikTok. Oh no, it's looking like I might have it on my YouTube only, my TikTok only. Wait, I never posted this on my... I can't believe I never posted this on my... Okay, I'm about to post this video on my my fucking YouTube. I'll find it on TikTok, but I'm shocked that I never posted it on my YouTube. That is shocking. Hold on. I'm gonna look up Blue to Loose. But for those of you who don't follow me on TikTok, it's the only place where I'm not blue-centric. I'm actually Blue to Loosema. I'm gonna do the search with y'all so y'all don't feel alone. Can y'all see my screen? Okay, let me put this on the stage. Oh, it's on Instagram. Instagram is even harder to pause videos. All right, Blue to Loosema. Blue to Loosema. By the way, if you don't follow me on TikTok, this is how you find me. There I go. That's so cute. Okay. Well, there's another Blue to Loosema. Who the fuck is that? Oh, he got 0 followers. Okay. All right. So this 2.5. Oh, it's going up. This is my TikTok video about situationships. I'm going to play this before I leave. And then I'm going to post it on my YouTube because I can't believe that it's not on my YouTube. This is wild. I'm dedicating this video. In fact, I'm going to use this as an intro. So let me put this down real quick. I am dedicating this video to... Katisha, who just fumbled the love of her life potentially to be with the demon. Okay? All right, let's watch the video. I'm not going to hold your hand when I say this because they look sticky, but it's psychologically impossible, energetically impossible, physically impossible to find yourself in a situationship unless at least one person has compromised self-esteem and one person has compromised integrity. I'm going to repeat that again for the folks who want to fight me. It is psychologically impossible to find yourself in a situationship unless at least one person has compromised self-esteem and one person has compromised integrity. And before you say something like, but no, Blue, he's a good dude. I'm a good person. I'm a boss-ass bitch. It's just complicated. What does that have to do with what I just said? I didn't say you weren't a good person. This is not about being a good person. It's about the strength of your character, or in this case, the lack thereof any. Let's get into it. Now, for anybody who does not know what a situationship is, I got you, right? A situationship is an ambiguous romantic entanglement in which at least one party finds themselves constantly feeling dismayed and or unfulfilled. They want more than what they're getting, right? And a lot of times when I say this definition in my classes, the first pushback I get is, but Blue, it's not ambiguous. Something went wrong. TikTok does this thing. You said it's an ambiguous romantic entanglement. I'm gonna do this over. Sorry. Now, for anybody who does not know what a situationship is, I got you, right? A situationship is an ambiguous romantic entanglement in which at least one party finds themselves constantly feeling dismayed and or unfulfilled. They want more than what they're getting, right? And a lot of times when I say this definition in my classes, the first pushback I get is, but Blue, it's not ambiguous. You said it's an ambiguous romantic entanglement. It's not ambiguous. Technically, they knew what it was and they agreed to this. Pause. right? I teach about ego death. Pause. Only people who lack integrity rely on technicalities to make up for their lack of compassion. People who have a strength of character. Wait, why is TikTok doing this, guys? This is why I hate TikTok. You see how I can't play a video without it acting up? I'm thinking, should I just stop the video and put it on the page by itself? Because I'm getting annoyed by how it's not playing perfectly. Somebody said, please post. I don't have TikTok. Do you guys want me to just post it or do you want me to play it here? It's totally up to you guys. I'll start it over, but it was buffering and I want to make sure that the video is seen completely the way it's supposed to be played. All right, let's see. Just add the link. It was playing fine. What does yes, please mean? That doesn't. Okay, I'm going to actually put this video as its own standalone video because if TikTok is acting up, I do not want to be on here fighting with TikTok while I'm sick. Somebody said both, post it by itself and play it. Okay, I'm going to play it. Start from the top. I'm going to play this video one time. If it messes up, we're ending the live because I'm very sick. And I'm also going to post it separately. Okay, guys? Here's the video where I explain why situationships are never, 0% ever a good idea. 0%. I don't want to hear your sob story. It's never a good idea unless you hate yourself or have no integrity. All right, I'm bringing this back up one more time before the ticky-tacky pissed me off. I can't believe I never put this on my YouTube. This is crazy. Your hand when I say this. I'm not going to hold your hand when I say this because they look sticky. But it's psychologically impossible, energetically impossible, physically impossible to find yourself in a situationship unless at least one person has compromised self-esteem and one person has compromised integrity. I'm going to repeat that again for the folks who want to fight me. It is psychologically impossible to find yourself in a situationship unless at least one person has compromised self-esteem and one person has compromised integrity. And before you say something like, but no, Blue, he's a good dude. I'm a good person. I'm a boss-ass bitch. It's just complicated. What does that have to do with what I just said? I didn't say you weren't a good person. This is not about being a good person. It's about the strength of your character, or in this case, the lack thereof any. Let's get into it. Now, for anybody who does not know what a situationship is, I got you, right? A situationship is an ambiguous romantic entanglement in which at least one party finds themselves constantly feeling dismayed and or unfulfilled. They want more than what they're getting, right? And a lot of times when I say this definition in my classes, the first pushback I get is, but Blue, it's not ambiguous. You said it's an ambiguous romantic entanglement. It's not ambiguous. Technically, they knew what it was and they agreed to this. Pause, right? I teach about ego death. Pause. Only people who lack integrity rely on technicalities to make up for their lack of compassion. People who have a strength of character, who actually care about their impact on others, don't need to rely on technicalities to do the right thing. The example that I always give to explain why technicalities cannot be used to override having any sort of compassion or care about your fellow man is imagine you're at a party with a friend. You're not best friends, but you're decent friends. And you see that this person looks like they've been drinking a lot. And as they grab their keys to leave the house, you say to them, hey, friend, are you good to drive home? And they say, yeah, I'm good to drive home. I'm fine. But as they're saying it, you're noting their nonverbal because communication is over 90% nonverbal. You're seeing that they have bloodshot eyes, they smell like alcohol, they're slurring their words, they're swaying back and forth. Even though they technically told you that they were okay to drive themselves home, what are you going to do if you're a decent person when you see that their words are not aligning with their actions? What are you going to do when you realize that somebody that you care about in any capacity is about to do something that's obviously harmful? In the example that I gave, most of us would intervene for obvious reasons. We want to stop someone from causing themselves unnecessary harm due to an altered and compromised mental state. I just described what it's like when someone with low self-esteem is in a situationship. Instead of being drunk on alcohol, they're drunk on low vibrational attachment masquerading as love. And the person who lacks integrity now is the sober person who recognizes that they are getting something from someone that they have not earned and probably don't deserve. Instead of taking away the keys from a drunk driver, the equivalent would be stepping away and clearing the path for that person who's catching feelings to find someone who actually deserves them. So why don't we do that? Why do we rely on technicalities? Ding, 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 lack of integrity. And because I am very sex positive, I want to very specifically speak to my free love girlies, right? The girls who are like, no, Blue, I just, I think it's real sexy and provocative to like make out with my friends and have no reasonable boundaries to keep people safe. I just think it's cute and sexy. Pause, sis. I need you to understand from your big sis at my big age, there's nothing sexy or provocative about feasting on scraps and sitting around hoping that someone will get so tired that they'll pick you as their last resort. That is not sexy. It is sad. In fact, the gag is whether you're the person with low self-esteem, the person with low integrity, or a combination of both, a walking biohazard. The one thing that you and the person that you are in a situationship have in common is that neither of you like you enough. The one thing that you and the person that you're in a situationship have in common is that neither of you like you enough. That is my top video on TikTok. I'm shocked that I never put it on YouTube. I will put it on YouTube right after this because that's wild. Somebody said, Blue, is this the purple top we told us about? Yeah, that's the purple top I wore on my first date with Icky. So, don't you always just love how the receipts just be falling out my purse, even when I'm not trying? So just be clear. Kitty doesn't like herself. The only way Javen even makes sense is that Kitty doesn't like herself. And when she said, there's just a feeling I get with Javen that I don't get with D, that's called trauma. Familiar trauma feels like butterflies. In fact, guys, I don't want to be with the man who makes me feel butterflies. That's usually just bubble guts. That's usually me feeling anxious. Butterflies are usually just anxiety masquerading as romantic feelings. I want the opposite. I want someone who my emotional system, I feel emotionally regulated with. My nervous system can calm down around. I want a man who makes my nervous system feel calm, not bubble guts masquerading as butterflies. A lot of y'all like that feeling, not knowing that feeling's bad. And why do I call it bubble guts? Because a lot of y'all will eat ice cream and be like, yo, I love ice cream, but why do I always get bubble guts? And they'll be like, baby, that's called lactose intolerant. If you have the shits when you eat ice cream, you're lactose intolerant. We call it a bubble guts because Black people are very colorful, but we're not admitting our body's rejecting something that's not good for it. Butterflies are the same way. That's not romance when you feel butterflies. That's anxiety. That's the lure of something that is unsafe and unclear, making you feel like it's sexy and mysterious. I don't want sexy or mysterious. Be transparent. Tell me you like me, and then act like it afterwards, consistently. Tell me when you're upset and still keep me safe while you're upset. And don't use you being upset as an excuse to be disrespectful. Hear me say no and still act like a grown-ass man, not like a little girl who's scared for her life. Right? So, fuck butterflies and fuck situationships and fuck Javen, whatever the hell his name is. Kitty, I just watched you ruin your life on national television. And that's why I had to go live today. And I'm praying that because it's only episode 4, that before the season is over, you can course correct this. I'm praying. All right, guys, I love y'all. Now I'm about to honor my sickness and go lay down. I will see y'all when I feel better. All right. And yes, please share this live for anybody who's watching the show, because had I known that Love is Blind UK was going to be like this, I might have waited till I felt better. I only watched it because it was wholesome last year. This was not wholesome. This was emotional sabotage. I literally watched a man who wasn't ready ruin the life of a man who was ready just to say that he won. Love y'all so much. Bye.